the start streaming button. The button has been hit. We're all about hitting buttons around here.
Yeah, we are.
Are we hitting buttons or are we pressing buttons?
Don't touch my cards anymore.
I'm not touching your cards. Who touched your cards?
Someone touched my cards. I don't
Swaggo, did you touch his cards?
He wouldn't do that.
Probably.
Don't touch his cards.
We'll put a
What?
pen in your eye.
What?
Don't touch my cards anymore.
Don't touch
Don't
his
put your
I
cards
think
in my vicinity,
hey,
and I won't touch them.
Hey.
Your vicinity?
Hey.
Is it?
Is the Western Annex your vicinity, Jeff? Don't.
You said the wrong thing.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
You'll pick on a kid because he's fat. Say hi to the YouTubes. What's up, YouTubes? Wait a minute. I'm not sure what I'm more nervous about, the fact that you're going to cut Jeff or the fact you just called him a hoe. Like, I'm not sure which one to deal with. That's pretty funny.
As soon as I retire and start smoking dope, we're going to put all kinds of stuff on this channel.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, my God. I can't
all
wait.
the pictures we got.
Okay.
It's going to be amazing.
We think we have good participation on the YouTubes now. Wait till I start posting up our home videos from like the 90s.
I want my own channel.
Oh, my God. Oh,
We would, if I had my own channel, we wouldn't be able to host us.
No, we have to definitely.
It wouldn't be good
No,
content.
we wouldn't host it on our channel.
No.
Yeah, it'll definitely be PG-19. All right, so Ron's in the chat, so it's. I guess we're official. We can kick off this episode of Raiders Fan Radio.
Look, I tried to use that as my mouse. I'm
Mosh, your Copenhagen is
You
not a
ain't been here in a
mouse.
while. You ain't been here in a
All
while.
right, here we go. I'm gonna hit the button.
Where's the bell? Oakland, L.A., Oakland, Vegas, Raider Nation, wherever, forever. You got your old Uncle Mosh and Raiders Fan Radio from Murph's Man Cave, taking a lighter journey into the dark side. Sit back, put your feet up, pop a top, and enjoy the ride. Here we go!
Look left, look right, Biletnikoff, a leaping pass, touchdown!
We miss you, we love you, and we'll see you in the Hall of Fame.
When you have great coaches, then after you have great coaches, you get great players. You have a great organization, and you tell them one thing: just win, baby.
Way up the middle, intercepted Filipiano at the 50, time running down. Oakland football, and I think Oakland victory.
The Oakland Raiders have scored on the most zany, unbelievable, absolutely impossible dream of a play.
Well, I love this team. I think this team can win. I think this team can win.
What is up, Raider Nation? Your old buddy Murph back once again for what we hope to be a fantastic episode of Raiders Fan Radio. Episode number 157 of Raiders Fan Radio, coming to you live right here from the new and improved Murph's Fan Cave. So for those of you watching on the YouTubes, I'm sure you could tell that old Murph is in glorious 4K, so I apologize in advance for that. But we've made a significant amount of upgrades around here in terms of our equipment and a few little cosmetic upgrades. So hope you all dig it, and we certainly want to continue to improve each and every time we come on here and give you the best product available, because you, Raider Nation, deserve it. Because it's a fan thing, and so we love you. You're Raider fans, and we're Raider fans. And we want to get on here and talk about our team, and so the better tools we have to do that, then we will continue to strive to do so. So my name is Murph. So for those of you, we get new listeners all the time. So let me start off at the top here by saying, my name is Murph. I've been a lifelong Raider fan. I'm from the Bay Area of California, from San Jose, relocated now to Middle Tennessee, but still carried my Raider fandom with me. And with my Raider fandom, I choose to do a podcast because I love talking about the Oakland Raiders, now the Las Vegas Raiders. And I love talking about it with Raider Nation. And so that's why we started this show. And that's what we do each and every week here. We are not pretend analysts. We are not wannabe media people. We just love to talk about the Raiders and talk about Raider fandom. And we do that here in Murph's Fan Cave every week.
On an open fire.
And I don't do it alone. I would not.
Jack Frost nipping at your nose.
It just wouldn't be the same without the one and only man.
Merry Christmas.
that adorns the western annex of the Murph's Fan Cave desk.
Merry Christmas. Hey, Coach Davis.
And that is the always jolly Uncle Mosh. Welcome, Uncle
Man,
Mosh!
I'm so excited to be here for the Christmas show. I wore my Christmas shirt.
Mosh.
Oh,
Mosh. Well, first off, Mosh is now in glorious 4K as well. Looking good
Wow,
over there,
look
Uncle
at
Mosh.
that.
Looking mighty fine, Uncle Mosh. Now, wait a minute. You said you were here for the Christmas show.
Yeah.
You're only about 8 weeks late.
Oh,
Just
man.
a little late.
Just a little late.
You know, when you're built like Santa Claus, every day's Christmas.
Well, you know, we've missed you, Mosh. It's been a minute since you've been here in the
I
Fan
think
Cave.
I think it was January 3rd or something. Last time I was here for 155. What was it? Was that 15.5?
No, it wasn't
average?
January. It was December.
No,
Yeah,
it
it
was
was-
January. I went back to check.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
You were
And
here in
it was-
January?
Yeah, I was because I was wearing my Raiders coat.
Oh,
Yeah, the one I
that's
got for
right.
Christmas.
Yeah. Good
Yeah,
call.
but it feels like last year. It feels like
Feels like
it's
last.
been a year.
You know what? There's nothing wrong with carrying a little festivity into February.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love it.
heck
Yeah.
yeah.
So
And you look good. That thing looks good on you, Mosh.
Yeah. No, I'm excited to be here. I'm excied to be back.
Yeah, welcome back.
Swaggy, what was the 155?
Wait.
Was that 15.5 yards per catch that Cliffy? Was that what it was?
Absolutely. And
Last time I was here.
Yes, sir. And let's give him the proper introduction. Since you brought him up, let's talk to the man that adorns the southern annex of the western annex of the Murph's Fan Cave desk, and that is our buddy, Swaggy.
Swaggy J.
Yeah.
Swagalicious. The Swaggy
We've got the
Nation.
triple threat
Well,
finally
triple threat,
back.
man. I'm
we
telling
are
you.
all back and
All three.
here in the same room, and I'm so excited about it.
And you got a new camera. Look at you over there.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, I'm at 720p now. Yeah, which is great. I love watching you guys in 4K, and that's okay.
Well, we have. So for all of you out there on a CRT monitor, Swaggy's looking awful fine.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
You
Yeah,
look nice. You got your proudly hated shirt on over there. You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Shout
love
out
that. I
Just
love
Win
that
Johnny. Yeah, for sure. OneNationFanwear.com.
Show us. Stand up.
Yeah, that looks good, man. Yeah, Swaggo looking good over there. Proudly
Nice.
nice. Always proudly
I
hated.
love that.
Yeah, man.
All right, so let's real quick, let's jump into the show. But before we do that, Swaggo, who is our social media director. So my name is Murph.
Yeah,
I'm
he
the
is.
host of this little shindig around here, Raiders Fan Radio, and numerous other things on the Murph's Fan Cave podcast network. And then, of course, the Uncle Mosh is our co-host here, one of our co-hosts here on Raiders Fan Radio. And then Swaggo over there, and I do a show called Tales from the Nation. And Jeff is also our social media director and kind of runs our online world. So, Jeff, tell us about what's going on online in the chat room, and then and what else we have going on around here. at Raiders Fan Radio.
We got everyone in here. We got Ron the Mater Raider, Atticus B. Rockin, Coach Davis, Pirate 1975, Kevin the Raider Nerd, Stoned Raider, Jesse Rosales. We've got everyone in here, and everyone's having a good time.
Awesome. Appreciate everybody joining on the YouTube.
And everyone's already talking about AB wanting to come back.
Jeez, we'll get to that in a minute. We definitely will hit that. Before we do that, though, so you can find us on the YouTube each and every week. That's youtube.com/Murph's Fan Cave. That's MURFS Fan Cave. Check us out there. You could join in the chat, and the chat is the absolute best there is in terms of Raider fan community. They know more about football than we do. They're funnier than we are, and it's an absolute great time in there. And so definitely check out those guys in the chat. Also, if you listen to us via audio podcast, please subscribe to us there. All you got to do is search for Murph's Fan Cave, MURFS Fan Cave, and you can find us on any podcast service. And also, while you're at it, if you're going to subscribe to us on audio, please subscribe on the YouTubes. Now, listen, we love our YouTube audience. We get literally now we're getting thousands of people watching us on the YouTube.
Yeah.
When you do that, hit the subscribe button, please.
Yeah, why not?
Just while you're there, you're watching our video.
Just hit that damn button,
Just
nerd.
hit the dang button, nerd, please.
Just press the damn button, nerd.
It helps us with the momentum for the show, and that's all we ask. We're always going to do this thing for free. And in fact, we're always going to give back more than we ever get from this thing.
Absolutely.
The only thing we ask is hit the subscribe button, whether that be on an audio version or the video version. Help us keep the show momentum going. We really appreciate those of you that do. And also, we like to keep our momentum going on the social media world. Jeff, what do you got going on over there?
Yeah, what, you want me to hit contact info? What are we doing?
Oh, we're going to do that later?
Yeah, let's do that later.
Oh, we'll do that later. Right now I know what we want to do, speaking of social media.
But you do want to throw it back to me.
I do want to throw it back to you, because why?
Because it's episode 157.
Oh, well, tell me
What
about
does that mean?
Well, that means that it's the first episode since 156.
So this could be like 155 1A.
Could be.
Yeah, but it's
Could
not.
be.
It's 157.
No, it's 157.
So what do we do for every episode then, Swaggy?
Well, so since I am the social media director, I am also in charge of finding the significance of every episode to a certain moment in Raider history.
I love that.
Nice.
Well, yeah, you do.
Yeah, I
You
do.
love that.
I do.
And today is episode 157.
Yes.
And we are going to take it back to the year 2017.
Wayback Machine.
So long ago.
Yeah, so long ago. So long ago. Yeah. And you know what? It wasn't a great year.
17?
No, it was
wasn't
not a
good
great year. No, 16
It wasn't a good year. There was not a whole lot to be excited
17 was a good year because I didn't get divorced in that year.
about. That is true.
That is one good thing.
My daughter was born that
yes,
year.
it was. So there was some highlights.
There was some highlights, but not a whole lot of Raider highlights.
No, it was
None at
rough.
all.
It
But
was
the
rough.
one Raider highlight that I want to bring up
Come on.
is everyone's favorite Skittle eating, sideline dancing, just here so we won't get fined, player in all of our hearts, number 24, Marshawn Lynch.
Money Lynch.
Yeah, his return home to Oakland.
Oh.
His swan song.
Nice.
He's back.
Buddy.
He's back in Oakland. He had 207 rushes for 891 yards. He played in 15 games, and he had 7 touchdowns.
Oh.
15
nice.
and 7. 157. That one was really hard. It took me about half an hour to find that.
Yeah, you
Because nothing in 157, nothing ever happened 157 times in Raider history. Ever.
Really?
Ever.
or 15.7s or
Nothing.
section 157.
Yeah,
or like,
nothing.
Yeah,
A whole lot of nothing.
Whole
And
lot
that's
of nothing.
okay.
That's okay. Well,
that's
good
okay.
job, though, Swaggo. Way to
Yeah.
pull that one. That's awesome. And so, good job. All right. So, I did, though, earlier I was referring to something that was online. I did want to bring this up real quick before we get into the
Go
meat,
for it.
to the meat of the show. So I said at the top, so I'm Mosh and I originally from the Bay Area. Swaggo is from Southern California, lived all over the place, and ultimately now we all three of us reside here in Middle Tennessee, which is just outside of Nashville. Also, someone who lives in Middle Tennessee, just outside of Nashville, is a Raider linebacker. His name is Will Compton.
Yes.
Number 51 for the Raiders.
Right,
Yes.
right,
We're
right.
a big fan of his.
Huge fans.
51 on the Raiders, number 1 in our hearts.
There you go, right? So not only are we big fans of what Will did on the field for the Raiders this year, he had 39 tackles in only 9 games. I think he's by game like second leading tackler on the team.
If he would have played 16 games for the Raiders, he would have been, I think, the second tackler on the defense.
Second leading, only behind Tier Whitehead.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So the guy,
and he's for the boys.
and he's for the boys, and that's what I wanted to bring up. So Will Compton, so he lives here in Nashville, and he does a podcast called Bussin' with the Boys.
Yeah.
Him and left tackle for the Titans, Taylor Lewan, they do this podcast together. We have been lobbying online via email and Twitter and anything else to try to get Will's attention because we want to get him on Raiders Fan Radio. We want to try to get him in the fan cave.
Yeah.
So here's what we're asking you, Raider Nation. Hit Will up on social media. If you look on Twitter, he's @_Will Compton, WILL Compton. Let him know that you want to see him on Raiders Fan Radio or here in the Fan Cave live, and we want to join up with those guys. And even if they don't come here in the Fan Cave, we want to meet them somewhere else or out around town. But their podcast, and this is one of the big reasons that we want to meet up with them, they do a podcast that's actually on the Barstool Network now. They're like a big, legit podcast. It's called Bussin' with the Boys. Their Twitter is @BUSSINWTB. So @_Will Compton, @_Bussin WTB. Hit them up. Tell them you want to see Will get together with the Raiders Fan Radio crew somewhere in some way. Let's get on the bus. Let's get in the cave. Let's meet out and about. Heck, we'll meet them down on Broadway or something. But let's get a Raider here in Murph's Fan Cave and on Raiders Fan Radio. We've had a lot of Raiders on before, and we're thankful for all those guys. But none of those guys like literally live down the street. So we're calling in a favor, Raider Nation.
Yeah.
Hit Will up on social media.
And
tell
Ron
me
the
what to
Mater
see.
Raider says, do we really want to get him cut?
No, and you had the perfect answer because the jinx only works if
It's on the phone.
Yep.
If you're in the cave, you're safe with us,
Yep.
Will.
Yep.
You are safe
nice.
with us.
because
Nice.
the cave is a safe space.
It's a safe zone.
It is a safe
We're all
Yeah.
safe in the cave.
We're all safe
Yeah.
in the cave. This nice it's a nice vibe around here.
Yeah.
It's a nice vibe.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So hit Will Compton up on social media. Let him know that you want to see him on Raiders or hear him on Raiders Fan Radio. And appreciate you all doing that.
So,
yeah,
the capo.
Yeah, Aaron
Aaron
Q-Dog Raider.
the Q-Dog Raider. Our capo. He's on the ball. Capo's on the ball. He's on the stick. And he helped you out a little bit. Swaggy, you guys are tight. He loves you now.
Yeah, we're boys.
And he said, hey, Swaggo, the Raiders get screwed by the refs 150 times a season. Duh.
Oh, good stat.
Oh, nice.
Good stat.
Nice. I like that. Good stuff. All right, so here at the top of the show, we like to give a little bit of respect. We don't do shout-outs. We don't do props. There's nothing wrong with those things. But we like to give out respect. So I want to give out respect to two guys here at the top of the show. And one of them is a regular contributor, and one of them, actually, speaking of guests that have been here in the Fan Cave, is a gentleman that's joined us here live. So first off, I want to give props and respect to our buddy, Houston Raiders Steve. Houston Steve calls our show on the regular. He's just an awesome contributor. Mostly whenever he calls with his knowledge. We're going to hear from Steve later on tonight. He's an absolute wealth of information around the team, and so we always like to celebrate that when he contributes to the show. But also, Steve likes to contribute to other shows as well, and he contributed to one of our favorite nationally syndicated shows this week, and that is our friends at the Rich Eisen Show. So Rich Eisen and his crew were at the draft in Nashville this past year, and we had a chance to meet up with them live. Mosh and I and Aaron the Q-Dog Raider, we met Chris Brockman and we met Mike Del Tufo from the Rich Eisen Show and hung out with those guys for a little bit. Super, super cool. So we're just big fans of that show. And so Steve called the Rich Eisen Show this week, and he dropped some respect our way. So we want to return the favor here.
The number to dial, let's get the phone. Steve in Houston here on the Rich Eisen Show. Let's take your call, Steve. What's going on?
Hey, Rich, big fan of the show and everything. A shout out to Murph at Raiders Fan Radio. They're big listeners and have been for years.
Thank you.
I just want to tell you, thank you very much.
Oh, my buddy Murph. He's not just consistent, he's a man of his word.
Wow.
Thank you, Rich Eisen. Appreciate that, buddy. Yeah, how cool is that? Houston Raiders Steve.
Coming in clutch.
That was awesome.
It was so cool. So the TV over here, over Mosh's shoulder, right? That TV stays on pretty much on the Audience Network, which is where Dan Patrick and Rich Eisen are on all the time. So Steve hit me up and he goes, hey, I just gave you a shout out on the Rich Eisen Show. So I didn't have the show on because I wasn't up here at the time.
Sure.
But thankfully, the DVR automatically records back whenever channel you leave it on. So I threw on, and so it was already on Rich's show, and I just rewound back and then found that clip. And I'm like, there it is.
Perfect.
It said Steve in Houston, and then there it was the shout out. So that was super cool, Steve.
That's amazing.
Thank you for thinking of us. Thank you for thinking of enough of us to shout us out there on the Rich Eisen Show. Much appreciated.
Hey, what's up? It's Brockman from the Rich Eisen Show.
And it's Del Tufo from the Rich Eisen Show.
You're listening to Murph and Mosh.
And Swaggy.
Yeah, right?
On Raiders Fan Radio.
Yes. All right, one more bit of respect that we want to give. So I mentioned earlier, this guy joined us live in the Fan Cave. He's actually a Steelers fan, but he's a good friend of ours in real life, and so we wanted to welcome him in to the Fan Cave during Steelers week, not this past season, but the season before. And that's our drummer friend, David Northrup. We've known David for a long time. We met him through coaching. Mosh and I coached his youngest son in baseball, and we became good friends with David and his family, and have been good friends since. Well, anyways, David released a brand new album this past week, a solo project. Now, David's played with everybody from Travis Tritt to Boz Scaggs, Oak Ridge Boys.
He's toured with them all.
Winona,
yeah,
he's one of those guys that he's been out with a lot of really big time national acts, and then now he's done his own thing, and he's released his own CD, and it's awesome. So Dave's passion is jazz and like fusion type stuff. Like, it's really, really cool. So he released this, and I asked him, I'm like, Dave, we do like outro music at the end of our show. would you mind if we took one of your tracks and made that like our new outro music? And he said, absolutely not. Please do. So so much respect to Dave. Congratulations on the new album. And in return for you allowing us to use one of your songs as our new outro music, I want to let you know where you can find his CD. So you can go to davidnorthrup.com. It's DAVID Northrup, NORTHRUP.com. And you can find it there. You can buy it there, or you can go to iTunes and you can download it there. Or if you want a physical copy of it, you can go to CD Baby. You can just Google CD Baby and it'll come up, and look for David Northrup. But many, much respect.
Hey, let me give you a little taste.
Give us a little taste of the new outro, Mosh.
That's all you get, man.
Oh,
I like it.
Just the first strum on the guitar there,
like
Mosh.
it.
The first one's free.
Oh, nice.
You want to hear the rest, you got to stay to the end of the show.
That's right.
Yeah, you
in, in about 4 hours.
Oh, my gosh.
I thought we were only going to do a 90-minute show.
That's what we say every week.
Every week. All right, so let's, before we jump into the Raider talk, which we're going to have plenty of here on tap, Swaggo.
Swag.
Mr. Social Media Director.
Yeah.
Hey,
Tell the
social
people-
media director, I got a question for you.
Oh.
I have a follow-up question afterwards.
Have I tweeted lately?
I don't know. You'll have to ask the owner of your Twitter account.
That's you, bro.
No, it ain't me.
That's me, I think.
That ain't me.
You retweet a whole bunch of stuff.
Oh, yeah, I do.
Yeah. So actually, Murph,
Yes.
I got a question for you.
Okay.
Would you rather eat a baby goat or a matter baby?
Matter baby?
Yeah.
I don't know what a matter baby is.
What's the matter, baby?
Nothing, sugar. What's the matter with you?
I can't believe you didn't go, Murph.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, I didn't know.
I heard that joke the other day, and
I love that.
died.
Oh, my gosh. That's
Oh, my
pretty good.
gosh.
I like it. That reminds me of the one where they go, smells like up dog in here.
Exactly. What's
Yeah.
up, dog?
Yeah.
Nothing. What's up?
How much, dog? What's up with you?
Yeah.
Or that's like when they brought in the Henways.
Huh?
The Henways.
What Henways?
No, Murph, you can't do anything right. Hey, Jeff, remember when they brought in the Henways?
What's a henway?
Oh, about 4 pounds.
Oh, nice.
Ah, jeez.
Nice. Okay, so
Tell us-
anyway, hey,
Will somebody, for the love of Pete, tell us about the goddamn social media?
So this
Hey.
is Dad Joke Central.
Yeah, oh my God.
so Raider Nation, do you like the Raiders? Do you like belly shakes? Do you like donuts? Do you like us as much as Uncle Mosh hates the Chiefs? Well, you should get
Look
made.
away, Haley.
Oh, nice.
It's always so good for ratings.
It's always so good for ratings.
I had a request. Fabricator Gil from IE.
Oh, he loves it.
He loves it.
He loves it. He loves it. And hey, if you love it too, you should get made. You should call us 909-345-3346. Again, that's 909-345-3346. You can also email us at show@RaidersFanRadio.com. Or if you like to see what's going on with us, or if you want to see the latest Swag Jeff selfie, you can go to all of our social media. You can go to Facebook.com/Raiders Fan Radio Podcast. You can follow us on Twitter at Raiders Fan Radio or Instagram at Raiders Fan Radio. Or you can join us like you are right now on YouTube.com/Murph's Fan Cave, where you can join us in the chat. That's the best part about us.
Yes.
Is the chat room. You guys are hilarious. You got it. So you can follow us there. Anywhere you listen to your podcast, search for Raiders Fan Radio search for Murph's Fan Cave, and you will get Raiders Fan Radio. You will get Mojo's Pod Show, and you'll get Tales from the Nation.
Yes.
So that is where we are everywhere. Check us out wherever we are. Thank you very much. We love you.
Hit the button, Mosh.
Hit that damn button.
Now that was very good, Swaggy.
Thank you.
You get a lot of grief for reading.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. But
You did a good job, Swag.
But people don't know that you can look at something and memorize it in like 3 seconds.
I can.
Yeah.
I can.
Here is latest draft.
There's a draft.
Watch out for drafts.
This is the NFL draft.
Look, I'm into a draft.
Let's go and pro in the draft.
You're going to the draft?
Draft looks solid.
They drafted me.
Apparently we're drafted.
I drafted you.
got
I
drafted.
love this. This is one of your better ones.
It's my third draft.
You only get drafted once.
Let's talk about the draft.
It's our draft.
You drafted me in the first round.
Excellent draft.
You dig that? We're going to Vegas, Mike.
Vegas! You think we get there by midnight?
Money, we're going to be up 500 by midnight.
Vegas!
Vegas, baby, Vegas!
I know, right?
That's right. We're going to Vegas. The NFL draft this year is in Vegas, and we will be there. We've got some more plans to finalize. I know for sure that I'll be there. The rest of the guys, we're still working a few things out, but I definitely look for the Raiders Fan Radio crew in some semblance down there for the upcoming NFL draft. So before we get into some of the draft prospects of this season, or this draft season, at 12 and 19 is where the Raiders are drafting overall in the first round. I wanted to kind of hit in something, and I forgot to cover this with you guys in the rundown, but something that came up this week. So there's been a few players that were drafted this last year that quickly have become our favorites, right?
Yeah.
So there is the Condor, Max Crosby, Max, right?
Max.
We love Max, and but also Jonathan Abram. Although we've only seen the kid play 60 minutes, he's like, I swear, he might be my favorite Raider right now.
Yes.
Like,
He's amazing.
He's really coming along quick. Okay. So Jonathan Abram was on Ian Rappaport's podcast and had some amazing comments. And I apologize, guys, I forgot to set you up for this in the rundown. But I want to hit this real quick before we get into these prospects, because I thought Jonathan Abram's response to a couple of Ian's questions were awesome, because he really gets into Raider fandom here, and this is pretty cool. Check this out.
So it's an interesting time to be an Oakland Raider, because you are now officially no longer an Oakland Raider.
I'm a Las Vegas Raider.
Nice.
What do you think about the move?
I actually love it.
You a big Vegas guy?
I mean, it's not Vegas. I mean, you know, we upgraded. You know, a new stadium, new facility. Like, it's state of the art. You know, we went out there like a week ago to announce that we're the Las Vegas Raiders. You know, we toured everything.
Oh, you've seen it?
Yes, it is unreal. It is unreal. Like, the practice facility is going to honestly be the best in the league. Stadium, the Death Star, where dreams come to die.
Hear that, Mosh?
It is.
No, I intentionally ignored that.
It's unreal.
That is awesome.
No state tax.
That part I knew.
Yeah, I heard that. No
and
state
then,
tax.
like, the cost of living there is just so much better, you know.
Yeah.
Way cheaper. You know, what you can buy for in Vegas is going to cost you probably, like, if you bought a $2 million house in Vegas, it'll cost you probably $20 million in California.
So this is pretty good.
Yeah.
And I guess the fan interest has been really good, too. I mean,
Yeah.
not that that's surprising. I mean,
Raider fans are the best fans. Everybody hate them, but we love them.
I would imagine, I'll tell you what I've been interested in, and obviously I've been to plenty of Raider games and whatever. You know, the Oakland fans never really turned on you guys. In the past, when teams have moved, the fans did. Your guys' fans seem to stick with you guys.
Because we're
even with
worldwide.
the move coming, you know?
I mean, that's the beauty of Raider fans, you know. They support us through it all, you know.
Come on.
I met this one guy. He was like, the hardest thing of my life is being a Raider fan. And I'm like, why? Why you say that? He was like, you know, throughout the years, you know, we was really good. And then he was like, you know, and then you tanked. He was like, you know, we had the time where, you know, we didn't make the playoffs. He was like, and he still stuck through it throughout the entire time. He was just like, being a Raider fan is probably the hardest part. He was like, because then, you know, they get us so excited. Like, we started out 6-4. He was like, you know, and then we just plummeted. So he was like, that's probably the hardest thing of his life, being a Raider fan. He was like, but he wouldn't do it no other way. Like, I seen guys with, like, whole back tatted. Or, no, I seen a whole back tat Raider logo. I was like, this is crazy.
All right, so couple things there. So first off, he refers to the new stadium as the Death Star. So he's automatically, I'm pretty sure he's my best friend now,
cool,
too.
yeah.
That's very cool. And I love it. He says, and that's where dreams go to die. Like, it's so money, right? And I love his excitement clearly behind being a Las Vegas Raider. But I love that he talks about the passion of the fans. He talks about, you know, seeing people with whole back tattoos. I was telling Swag, and I think I told you this too, Mosh. I was at Oscar's Taco Shop right around the corner from my house here a couple weeks ago, and there was a dude with a full crown on the crown of his head, of his bald head, the Raiders shield tattooed up there, man.
No way.
Like, right
It's
here
amazing.
in our little town, man.
So
I'm like,
cool.
I'm like, what the crap? Like, so just, it's amazing. Like, as you said there, Mosh, Raider fans all worldwide. But I want to ask you this. I want to hear from both you guys on this. Start with you, Mosh. What do you think about a guy that's only played 60 minutes of Raider football now being an ambassador for the team already.
But when we said that from the get-go, the guy was all in from the get-go. You know, remember, it was early on when we said, you know, we were watching Hard Knocks.
Hard Knocks,
we're like, wow, you know, he's kind of, is he stepping over the line, kind of giving DC a little bit of crap about how much money he makes? No, that's the Raider way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Call him on it. You know, I
Yeah.
mean, and he's just, everybody loves this guy, man. He's all in. He's 100%. I mean, when you play 60 minutes with a broken shoulder,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, you're all in.
Well, and it's funny, earlier on in that podcast, before the clips that I pulled there, he talks about how he not only dislocated it, but he tore the front of it, the back underneath his armpit. Like, he ripped his shoulder out, popped the sucker back in.
And kept going.
Like, the guy is like, he's tough as nails. And the other thing that he talks about, too, before that clip, was that during his off time, he's been meeting with Mayock. They've been watching film together. He said, I'm dedicating this time to come back next year so I'm not a rookie. He goes, I don't want to repeat my rookie year. I want to learn as much as I can so next year I've still taken the strides forward that I'm not trying to play rookie all over again.
Right.
His dedication is absolutely incredible. What do you think, Swaggo?
Well, so to piggyback on what Mosh was saying about Hard Knocks, we saw a lot from that. And you know, and for the coaches to come to him and say, "Hey, man, look, you got to quit hitting so hard. It's just practice."
Right.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like he
Amazing.
had the fire from the get-go. He's ready to hit someone in the mouth, and that's Raider football. That's Raider football,
Absolutely.
and he's had the whole season. Yes, he didn't play, but he's got to talk to all the Raider legends, Raider greats. He just gets it. He gets what Raider football's all about.
Yeah.
Setting himself up for the
you know
lifelong
what?
Raider.
And he may be the first person in NFL history. I think the man deserves to wear a C next year.
You know what? That's not a bad call, dude. I'm with you on that.
You know
he's
what?
got captain written all over him, dude. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think this guy can be the leader of our defense for a long, long time.
I think so too, Jeff. That's a great call, man. I, you know, as a fan, like, we should be proud that that's the guy that's the ambassador for our team right now. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, he speaks what we're all feeling as fans, and the dude brings it. Like, for all accounts, for at least what we have to judge him on
the field and off the field,
and then he's absolutely bringing it. So, yes,
Tampa,
Bosch, what do you got?
Tampa Raiders got a really good comment. He says he claimed himself as a first-year player, not a rookie.
Yeah, oh, that's
I
right.
love that. Remember
There you
that?
go.
That's right. That's right. Good point. That's right. He did say that on Hard Knocks. That's an excellent point. All right. So, look, as excited as we were about the 2019 draft, we've still got another amazing draft on the horizon. So the Raiders have 3 third-round picks, and we've already seen what Mike Mayock can do with a little bit of depth in the draft, and we're going to get to that in a minute. But before that, we've got 2 first-round picks. Nothing in the second, but we have 2 first-round picks. We have picks at 12 and 19. And so just look, we're not draft analysts. We're not pretend nothing. We don't study film around here. I can't tell you about oily hips, who knows how to bend best, like where the freaking, what your footwork needs to be, who's like all the different terms and all the different things. Look, I don't know about that. All I know is this, is that I can rely on what people like Mike Mayock are going to do. Our friend Rico said it best. Like, look, I don't know about all the finer details of the mechanics, but I know I can trust Mike Mayock. And I think that we can all do that. Like, we know enough around here to be dangerous and to coach youth football, but like to try to analyze these things at an NFL level, I think is a little arrogant to try to do that. But I will say this, there are a handful of players that I think are good fits. And I think that's what we can do as fans, is that we can look at our team, understand where we have the biggest, most glaring needs, and then see what players are available that might fill those roles. So I want to hit on a couple of players. You know, number 12 is interesting because we all feel like we need a playmaker. We all need a number 1 wideout for Derek Carr or whoever else is going to be our quarterback. Most likely it's going to be Derek. But we're going to need a playmaker. We need somebody to be that number 1 wide receiver. We need someone to fill that role. And if the Raiders are lucky enough at number 12 to have Jerry Jeudy available or somebody like CeeDee Lamb, I think that's probably the direction where they're going to go. So, Jeff, tell us a little bit about wide receiver CeeDee Lamb out of Oklahoma. I think that's probably a likely direction for the team to go. What do you think?
Yeah, for sure. You know, he's a fast wide receiver. I mean, quick, got good hands. Coming out of Oklahoma, the guy's just a stud, man. He's a stud coming in, and yeah, I mean, he's got number one wide receiver all over it.
And he's got big play potential, right? And that's what I feel like we're missing. Like, we're missing that. And look, as inconsistent as Cooper was at times with his hands, he had the big play potential. He was a home run waiting to happen.
Yes.
And I don't feel like we've had anybody, and I mean, maybe Josh Jacobs, but outside of that, we didn't have anybody that felt like they were going to be a home run hitter anytime they touched the ball. And that's what CeeDee Lamb could be for us.
Right, exactly. And you know, and
Jerry Jeudy as well, but we're in this.
Either one of those fall to 12, you snatch them.
You snatch them.
You have to. But you know, Murph, you and I talked about this today, and last offseason, we spent a lot of time and energy and a lot of time in the playbook, as far as the Raiders coaching staff, on making Antonio Brown the focal point of the offense. And with him not being that guy, with him leaving and putting Tyrell Williams in that spot, Ty Williams and AB are not the same wide receiver. So we need a big playmaking guy that can fit into this offense. And imagine CeeDee Lamb and then us going and picking up a guy like A.J. Green in the offseason.
Oh, Lord.
I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, think about, and this is obviously just a pipe dream, you know, but look at a guy like CeeDee Lamb and then having a guy like A.J. Green and then having Ty Williams as your third, you know, him and Renfro as your third and fourth. You know what I mean? Like, that just powers up your offense. And that, you know, geez, how can Derek Carr screw that up?
No, you can't. I think even certain podcast hosts would. Yeah, dude. You know, it's unreal the potential that the Raiders have, and I'm with you. You know, whether they went into the offseason with Antonio Brown in mind or not, or whether it was Ty Williams intentionally, and then Antonio Brown came along afterwards. I don't know, but one way or the other, we need a big playmaker at wide receiver, and I think draft is the best way. While I love the idea of somebody like A.J. Green, I think best case scenario is that they pull somebody early in the draft. And if either one of those guys, again, Lamb for the purposes of this discussion, because I think Judy's already going to be gone. That's why I put Lamb there. But either one of those guys, if they're still around, then that's got to be the choice. All right, now it gets a little more interesting at 19. Here's what I'm thinking. You got and his name's escaped me off the top of my head. Chat room, hook me up here. The Ohio State cornerback, like it's not Okoye, but it's like Okaye or what. Anyways, that guy is like all consensus, like number one corner. Mosh, they're talking about like this kid's going to be taken like higher than what Dion was. Like he's being coveted as like the best cover corner, like in the longest of times. This guy out of Ohio State. So I don't think he's going to be around. They're talking about him going like maybe third overall. So he's
out of Florida.
No, the kid out of Ohio State.
Sorry.
So,
okay.
Yeah,
okay.
This is how professional we are. I don't remember what his name is. And I didn't write it down. But anyways, that guy's going to be gone. So next up, I think there's a chance that C.J. Henderson from Florida. Here it is. I know I had it. Jeffrey Okudah.
Yes. Yes. From Ohio State University.
Jeffrey Okudah is like that guy. Look, if that guy's around at 12, you might even do that. And then worry about wide receiver at 19.
Yeah.
But I think Okudah is going to be gone probably, like seriously, like top 5 pick. Like this kid's going to be amazing. So after that, there's a chance that C.J. Henderson from Florida could still be on the board, Jeff. Tell us a little bit about C.J. Henderson from Florida.
Yeah, so he's probably one of the best man coverage cornerbacks coming out of this draft. He's not a trash talker, but your normal man corner. But he quietly handles his business at a high level. He allowed only 28 first downs on 637 coverage snaps.
That's pretty awesome.
So that's pretty good.
And this guy's playing the SEC too. So it's not like he's playing at Florida, so he's going up against guys like, Joe Burrow and what, what I mean? Like he's not playing chumps when you're playing Alabama and you're playing LSU and you're playing, what I'm saying? So like,
absolutely.
I think that, anytime that you look at those defensive players, especially in the secondary in the SEC, there's a reason that they're so good at the next level. And that's because they're going against the best of the best when they're lining up, still playing in college. So anyways, all right, good stuff there. So we'll have a lot more when it comes to the draft as we go on, but just wanted to kind of hit a couple there. But Mosh.
Sir?
So when it comes to the draft, Like I just said right there, like how important it is, right, for us to, do well, these first-round picks. Like, it's the most high profile. It's a big deal. But also in the third round, we got 3 picks, right? And it's important for us to build depth. Like, you draft your superstars early in the draft, and then you draft your depth players and the guys that actually build championships, guys like Max Crosby, you build that, like, in the latter rounds, right? Like, that's where you do all that kind of stuff, right? So I got some stats. I did some research.
What kind of research?
One's research with a lot of numbers.
Oh.
I got Mosh.
Is this like a
I got more fundamentals.
Fundamentals?
Fundamentals. Hello, boys and girls. Thanks for joining me here today as your old Uncle Mosh takes us to class. Most of you have heard the phrases Hail Mary, shotgun, or onside kick. But have you ever wondered what the heck a Mike, Sam, or Will linebacker did? Do the phrases run and shoot, bull rush, and nickel dime packages make you want to go pooch punt the Wildcat? Well, you're in luck. My little nephew Murph has a new flea flicker of a segment called Murph Fundamentals, where I ask him a question and he tries to teach this old dog some new tricks.
Mosh, today we're going to talk about draft efficiency. It's just been time for us to really get into the weeds on draft efficiency. There's been a huge groundswell, a calling, Mosh, from our listeners, from our supporters, from Raider Nation.
Do we have to?
They said, Murph, we need you to break down.
Who called you
the
on
efficiency?
This?
Just people, Jeff.
You need to keep it short, though. You can do it, but it's got to be a short segment.
There's a lot of talk around. Do the Raiders and many other of the 31 NFL teams, do they overvalue first-round draft picks? Do they undervalue later-round picks? Really, despite all the advanced metrics being developed to assess ideal playing strategies, training methods, and other in-game and out-of-game dynamics, the toughest thing to assess this day across all sports is to determine which collegians will make the best professionals, who will have the staying power, who will be a consistent starter, who will become a stud.
Will you stifle yourself?
Intuitively, we would expect first-round draft picks to become more likely to A, make and stay on NFL rosters, B, start at a higher percentage of games during their careers, and C, make the NFL's all-pro team. So, Mosh, I ask you this. Is there a correlation between draft position and starter status?
What?
What did he do?
Why don't you guys want to hear this? I was trying to bring some hard-hitting analysis
Oh, my
here.
gosh. That was brutal. What was all that?
Well, I was going to try to. I brought some in-depth analysis into the importance of draft position.
we got breaking news.
Yeah.
We got breaking news about stuff that's going on in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like what? Linda Ronstadt tend to rally or something?
Why you got to get on Linda?
I don't know why she popped into my head.
We're talking about one of the all-time greats, Eminem.
Yeah.
Who you met.
Oh, yeah. Big. He's a big fan of our show.
Yeah, Eminem was the first person. It's been reported that he's the first person, a celebrity, to contract the coronavirus.
Oh,
and you're wanting to bring up that whatever it was you said.
Are you serious?
It's a
He's
statement.
got coronavirus.
It's a statement. It just says, I'm reading it right now.
Okay.
In a statement released by doctors, it's been revealed that his palms were sweaty, his knees were weak, his arms were heavy. He presented with vomit on his sweater already.
Was it mom's spaghetti?
Initial testing. It was his mom's spaghetti.
Oh, my God.
I'm thinking to myself, what can we do to get us out of that crap you were just throwing at us?
Sheesh. Can I at least somebody pick me up around here? Like,
yeah.
And now for something completely different.
Okay, seriously.
Bring it home.
Come on.
Bring it home.
Come on.
What are you getting at?
all right, here's the bottom line, guys. Nearly 30% of all starters in the NFL as of 2014 were first-round picks when they were drafted into the league.
Well, there you go.
There's more.
Well, come on.
30% of the starters were taken in either the second or third round. 26% of the starters were taken in rounds 4 through 7, and undrafted players accounted for 14% of most likely of the group to compromise starters, only behind the first and second round picks, which second round picks accounted for 18%. So the bottom line is this: as valuable as first round picks are,
the bottom line.
that there's also an equal amount of importance to draft well later.
Well,
in
yeah.
the round.
What round was Max Crosby drafted in?
That was he was fourth, right? No, was it fourth? Renfro was fourth. Was Max third?
Nah, I don't.
Who is it? Now look at there you go. Do some homework around here.
So Raider born Rico goes, I just turned in, and Mosh was talking about spaghetti.
Yeah, he was.
All right, let's draft well, Raiders.
Hey, you know what?
Somebody hit a button.
So here's the thing.
Get me out of here.
Where are we moving to?
I don't know. Pick it.
Where are we moving to? Oh, my God.
I think you've been in the
You
show.
are off. How much does a hen weigh? We are moving to Vegas.
Well, we haven't done a show in
I know, like 8
Max
years.
was a fourth round pick. Renfro was a fifth.
Yeah.
So, we were a couple
So we're moving to Vegas.
Yeah, we're moving to Vegas.
Where'd we move to one time before? I got you right here.
Los Angeles.
Hey, this is Pete Koch, former Los Angeles Raider. Yeah, back in the old days, baby. And you're listening to Murph and Uncle Mosh, who happens to have the same hair as me. Check it out, Raiders Fan Radio.
Come on, Pete. Tell them about our hair, bruh.
Every Koch begins with K. That's right. If you missed our buddy Pete Koch on the K commercials, he's the guy that plays Santa Claus when he brings his wife.
Oh, it's
in
great. It's a great commercial.
It's great.
We
And he's
love
on
Pete.
iPhone commercials. Like, yeah, Pete's great. Look forward to meeting up, or at least catching up with him before training camp this week.
Hey, so all kidding aside.
Yes, sir.
2020 is going to be a good year.
2020 is going to be awesome.
I think 2020 is going to be a great year. It's going to be a great year for the draft. It's going to be a great year for the new house, the Death Star.
Yes.
It's going to be a great year for Vegas. It's going to be a great year for us.
Yes.
But it's also going to be a great year for some free agents, right?
Oh my gosh, Mosh. So look, let's run this thing down a little bit. So we just talked a little bit about the draft. So let's also talk about free agents. And look, we could talk about free agents literally all night long.
Oh my gosh.
So to avoid doing that and boring everybody in the chat room, and speaking of the chat room, appreciate everyone joining us there.
Yeah.
Kevin the Raider Nerd, Raider Born Rico, Raider Rich, Ron the Mater Raider. Thanks for holding down the fort in Air Force. Ron, Raiders 7528, Full Metal Mexican, DT the Sun, Logan Moore, Fabricator Gill, Pirate 1975. Who am I missing? Appreciate everybody in there. Aaron. Oh, Aaron the Q-Dog Raiders in there. Absolutely. There he is. Appreciate everybody joining us each and every week at youtube.com/Murph's Fan Cave. Yeah, so we're just going to talk about one position. So let's talk about quarterbacks. It's the most prominent position in all of sports.
Mm-hmm.
And this is unique, guys. This is interesting because every year there's, high-profile free agents, but it seems like there's a couple skill position guys, maybe an edge rusher. There's, maybe a safety, whatever, like an Earl Thomas, whatever. There's always like a handful of players, but I don't think, at least in my recollection as an NFL fan, can I remember the last time we had this many high-profile quarterbacks that are hitting the market. Now, this is what we have for potential unrestricted free agents. So we're not talking about the Cam Newtons of the world, guys that are going to, potentially retain an offer by their current team. We're talking about unrestricted free agents, guys that can literally go anywhere that they want to. Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Dak Prescott, Ryan Tannehill. I'm not going to say this guy's last name.
No, please don't. We know who it is.
It rhymes.
That guy with all the kids.
It rhymes with jackass. And he wears 17
Or
for the
synonymous.
For the chart. Yeah. There you go. And he was an old San Diego guy. Jameis Winston, Teddy Bridgewater, Marcus Mariota, and Case Keenum. Now, why is this important for us to have this discussion as Raider fans? Okay. Everybody, we're not going to go down the DC path. We've been down that path enough. This is not an opportunity to hate on the guy. But I'll say this. There, I think, is an opportunity for the Raiders to consider additional options, at least in terms of competition at a minimum. And I think that's fair to ask that and to think about in those terms, right? So all these quarterbacks on the market, let me ask you, Mosh, of all these guys that are down here, on this list, how many of them would you be willing to say, okay, Derek Carr, you only count as $5 million in dead money towards the cap. Maybe you could pick up a second-round pick and as a trade for him. We're willing to trade Derek Carr to pick up a second-round pick so we can trade ourselves back into the second round in the draft and roll with one of these guys as our starting quarterback in Vegas to kick off the franchise in the new city, probably draft his replacement or maybe not in this year's draft. Is there anyone on this list that you would look at and go, okay, day one, I'm ready to pencil them in. It makes sense from a team perspective, not from anything else, but in terms of wins and losses, I would rather have that guy as a starter on my football team than Derek Carr.
No.
That's it?
For me, there's none.
None?
Not on this list.
And these are the guys. This is who's going to be out there.
And this is the list. No.
This is the list.
No. I don't want any of them.
None of them?
Nope.
So you're thinking, you're like, it's DC for me, day one starter, Vegas. Do you subscribe to the theory that we need to at least draft someone to compete with Derek?
Don't get me wrong. I like some of these guys.
I mean, Drew Brees is like...
I said to you and Sonny, I said, if Tom Brady comes to dons the silver and black, it gives me a chance to root for the guy and not hate him. Okay?
Yes.
Will I embrace him? No. Will I put him in the same category as Lyle Alzado? That's ALZ. Okay, anyway, sorry, Jeff.
What? How do you pronounce that?
No, seriously. Ronnie Lott. There's
Jerry
others.
Rice.
Jerry
Yeah.
Rice. Yeah. Will I embrace? Hey, he's not a lifetime Raider. He's a New England Patriot. Would I embrace him? Would I root for him? Absolutely. I don't care who dons the silver and black. I'm going to root for him. But would I say that this is the guy that I want to replace DC? No. For me, not on this list.
When you talk about,
but I would. There are people who aren't on this list that I would embrace.
Sure, but those guys aren't.
But they're not available.
They're not available. So let me ask you this. Okay, now, and I say this is not a fan. This is just as an NFL fan. But I am a big fan though of leadership. It's my area of study outside,
absolutely.
In real life. And when you look at a guy like Drew Brees, he's like the epitome of you can't ask for a better football player.
No, you can't.
He's a great guy off the field.
Yep, 100%.
He's the best leader on the field. He's an absolute stud on the field. He's going to walk out of New Orleans or wherever else into the Hall of Fame. Could you get, I would rather out of all these guys, if you're going to pick someone to replace Derek Carr, I'd rather be Drew Brees than anybody. And no one's even talking about that. Everyone's talking about Tom Brady and all this other stuff. But Drew Brees is just as much of a free agent as Tom Brady is.
I'll tell you what if I had to, if it was you have to pick, but you didn't ask me that. You said, is there one on here?
Okay.
And I said,
let me ask you, phrase it that way. If you had to pick somebody off of this list.
Ryan Tannehill, without a doubt.
Whoa, really?
You know why?
Please.
Because I saw how he changed 40 miles up the road from us. I saw how he changed that team, the way they thought, the passion that they didn't have.
Yeah.
How behind this guy, all of a sudden, you have the passion. That guy has something, or at least he had it this year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
he's young. He's not an old guy like Drew Brees.
He's not an old guy. That's if I had to pick somebody, that's what I want. It'd be great to see Tom Brady playing silver and black. It'd be great to see Breeze, any of these guys. But to see what somebody has proven, what they can do to come into an existing locker room when Marcus Mariota was who we put all of our eggs in that basket, and all of a sudden that basket gets chucked out and Ryan Tannehill comes in and that he was able to win that team over, win those coaches over, win the fans over, and to do what he did. If we're going to replace Derek Carr, if we're going to put somebody on the ahead of him like Marcus was, Marcus ended up helping the guy. Marcus was all about Marcus sang his praises.
Yes.
You know that. We've seen it.
Yes.
And that's the kind of mentality of a leader that we need if we are going to go down that road. That's the guy I want.
You know what's interesting, too, about bringing that up, Mosh? And it's funny, I hadn't thought about this at all, but there's a lot of synergy there because Tannehill in Tennessee has a great offensive line and a badass running game. What do the Raiders have?
Exactly.
A great offensive line and a badass running game.
And not a true number one wide receiver.
Bingo. Dude, that's not bad, Mosh. I didn't think about that one. Swag, what do you got off this list?
You know what? I'm going to stay with the Tennessee Titans. I'm going to go Marcus Mariota.
Okay.
And you know
why?
what? You don't have to trade Carr to get him.
Oh, good.
You don't.
One.
Good. That's good.
You
Swag.
don't have to
That's a
trade
good-
Carr to get him. You go and get him because,
So
right now he's viewed as probably one of the number one backup quarterbacks in the league.
Yes.
And so you bring the guy in, and yeah, that gives Carr a little bit of friendly competition. And then, if you do want to trade back into the second round, if you do want to trade Carr, then you go get a guy like Jordan Love out of Utah State or something like that in the second round or something like that.
So you could sign Mariota in the offseason.
Yes.
And draft your
quarterback.
And that's your quarterback room right there. Is Derek Carr, Marcus Mariota, and whoever you
want.
trade into the back into the second.
Back into the second to go get.
That's good stuff.
That's
dude.
good, Jeff.
That's really good. Yeah, I think that's fair, guys, and I think that's a
But
a very non-Carr hatery way to approach this. Because we're not Carr haters. We don't always endorse everything he's ever done on the field. And I know there's a lot of talk now out there this offseason about, there's this new Twitter handle out there, this Carr Lights thing. And it's like every time Derek Carr's throwing a pass in the dirt. And it's like, look, there's a lot of glaring things out there about Carr, but there's still a lot of good in him too. And I don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. I don't want us to get this tainted view of what Derek Carr is. But I also think that at a certain point, look, the stats are the stats. And when Derek Carr falls behind, follow me on this one, Raider Nation. Here's some truth about Derek right here. As much as we may support him, Derek Carr is 5-45 when he falls behind by 10 or more points. Okay, let that sink in. 5-45 when he falls behind by 10 or more points. Just this year, that stupid ass team that plays in Kansas City rallied to win 3.
The great state of Kansas.
Yeah, rallied to win. Way to go, Trump. Rallied to win 3 straight games. They trailed by 10 points. Okay? The Raiders have lost 29 of the past 30 games when trailing by 10. That one win came against the Browns in 2018. Okay? There's a big deal around what you do when you get down. And unfortunately, it is what it is. I hate that term, but Derek Carr hasn't performed well. So is it fair to, as fans and as John Gruden, Mike Mayock, everybody else, to consider alternatives to Derek Carr? Yes, and I think that's a very fair, the scenario you just put together, Jeff, I think really is probably the sweet spot. You bring in a veteran guy to challenge him for a starting role, and then you draft the guy that's going to be going forward. Because here's the last thing, too, I'll say about this. The formula for today's NFL, and I've been saying this for a long time now, and it proved it again this year. You hit on a quarterback in the draft. You take advantage of the rookie wage scale. You take advantage of the idea that you don't got to pay them a lot of money in the first 4 years of their contract. You can extend them a 5th year. You overpay for defense, and you win a championship. What did the Chiefs do? What did the Seahawks do? What did the Ravens do? You can go down the list. There's a lot of teams that aren't named the New England Patriots that got really competitive real quick by drafting a guy, hitting on that quarterback early, and look what the Bills are doing now with Josh Allen. You hit on the quarterback, you overpay for defense. That's like a winning formula right now, and the Raiders absolutely could do that too. Okay, I said a lot. Mosh, what you got?
I don't agree with Mariota because what you just said about the style of team that the Titans had, right? That's what you were talking about with Tannehill, how he performed. Got a great running game, not really anybody to throw to. So why is that going to be better for Mariota with us? He just proved he couldn't play under that system with the Titans. I don't know. I think somebody in the somebody in the chat called him. Isn't Mariota just Carr light? So I don't see it. I think if you've already got one quarterback that's struggling with that, then why bring in a second that's struggling with that?
You know what? I think Carr's game and Mariota's game is just a little bit different.
I think so too.
I think he does offer that dual threat, which is the hashtag, the quote unquote new era QB.
Right.
But Mariota has had like 4 offensive coordinators in 5 years. So
how many did Derek have?
It was the same for me.
I don't know.
It was the same for me.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
So, so I think
paralleled each other.
Their careers are very close to one another.
They really are.
But the difference to me, this is not a case of Mariota over Carr. Don't take that.
No, absolutely
That's not. This is not what we're not trying to sell you on Marcus Mariota. But but I think the difference in their games is that the things that I think bother us, and when we boil it all down, and here's where we struggle with Derek, it's that give up. It's that not we know he's got an ability to extend a play, but he extends it to throw it away. He extends it to throw it in the dirt. He extends it like there's not it doesn't seem like there's as much creativity, where I think Mariota, well, he lacks the accuracy of Derek Carr, right? Like he's not as good of a passer, I don't think, as what Derek Carr is. But I don't think he's got a looser memory.
Sure.
Like he's not Jameis Winston. He's not just going to fling 30 freaking picks.
And he's won more playoff games than Derek Carr.
Well, oh my gosh, there you go. Say that again.
Yeah, no kidding.
He's thrown a touchdown pass to himself against the Chiefs.
And he's beat the Chiefs in the playoffs. That's what I'm saying, man.
The guy didn't have it this season. He didn't. Mariota did not play well this past year, and that's why he got benched, and that's why you saw a guy like Tannehill come in as the hero and take the Titans to the AFC Championship game. But the guys, we've seen greatness. Just like we've seen greatness with Derek Carr. We've seen how great he can be.
Sure,
and so,
in 2016, 7 of those comebacks. 7 comebacks out of the 14 games that we won were 7 comebacks. That was 16.
Yeah.
I do like what Q-Dog said. Let me light the fuse, Cam Newton. Because, see, that would have been my pick.
Well, but
he wasn't on the list.
He was on the list because
I wrote him down too. I think you could because he's a restricted free agent. But I think we could trade a third and get him.
Yeah, but don't you think they're going to end up franchising him?
Oh no. No.
You don't think so?
Because they got Kyle Allen.
Yeah, that's true. You're right.
And that's the thing is that they have the opportunity to match, and that's where he's not. And that's why that's why we didn't have him on this list, because he's not an unrestricted. He can't just kind of go wherever he wants. But I mean, but certainly that's another one. Like absolutely, I think that he could fill that role. But I don't know. Like, do you have Cam Newton and Derek Carr in the same quarterback room? Like I don't see that. Like that's 2 alphas going at it there. I don't see that.
Yeah.
Not that Marcus is not an alpha, but I don't know. What?
Pirate 1975 says Cam is a diva.
Well, you know what? And sorry to cut you off, but I think out of all those quarterbacks, and if you put Cam on that list, to me, Cam embodies Vegas.
Yep.
Oh, no.
He's out.
Yeah.
Hall of Fame, Mr. Hollywood, big shot guy in a place like Las Vegas.
Well, and you know what I like about Cam, and this look, and I don't care for Cam in a way like a lot of the way he presents himself.
Sure.
I think it's a little silly.
Sure.
But in terms of but this is the sad thing about Cam is that overshadows, unfortunately, what he does as a human. Like he's like community service and outreach and all. Like seriously, like there's not very many players that are comparable to what that guy does.
Yes.
And that's because he's, Mr. Oikos and Superman and all that stuff. That stuff shines a lot of what he does. He's like a super good dude, man. So I think that there's a lot of opportunity there, Raider Nation. It'll be interesting to see where this thing shakes out. All right, Mosh, let's get into the C-Fans mailbag.
Right now.
Gotta do it now. Go. Go.
You go now. You go now.
Go.
There he is, fading, looking. He's under the gun. He's caught. He's thrown. It is.
He caught it.
So
shout him out, Mosh.
Well, everybody's there. Q-Dog's there. Foxy Scorpio's there. Full Metal Mexican Pirate 1975. Logan Moore. Ron the Raider. So the conversation's going on a little bit. Q's got a little bit of a problem. Q, our capo. Before we hear from him, he's trying to find out, is Raider-born Rico going to be in Vegas or not?
I don't know.
Well, there's a problem with that because Q's saying, do I buy a ticket for my wife or not? Because if you're going, Rico, she's staying home.
Oh, yeah.
So Rico said, no. He's going to be stuck in the island of the draft, smoking cigars and pouring liquors and whiskeys. Buy a ticket for your wife, Q.
Oh, you know what? I'd almost rather fly to go just do the draft with Rico.
Let's instead of going to Vegas, let's go to the Canary Islands and go hang with Rico.
Rico.
We're all in, dude.
Shoot us an address, bro. We're coming to your house.
Oh, man, that would be awesome. All right, so here at Raiders Fan Radio, you can contact the show one of two ways to get featured on the Sea of Fans mailbag. You can call us. That is 909-345-3346. And we will be back here live next week to feature your voicemails. So please get those coming this week. We've got just a few this week to get to, but we have a crap ton of emails to read.
Yay!
And you can email the show at what a concept. Show, S-H-O-W. He came up with that title. What clever fella.
Yeah.
Show at RaidersFanRadio.com. That's show at RaidersFanRadio.com. And if we read your emails in indefinite amount of time, or if you call the show and leave a message that gets played on the air 3 times, we refer to you as a made man or a made woman here on the show. So please do that. Send us those emails, and we've got a bunch to get to tonight. We're going to kind of share the workload a little bit between Mosh, Swago, and myself. So, gentlemen, if you don't mind, I'm going to go first.
Okay, go ahead. Come on.
I hold in my hand here an email from Raider Tory. Raider Tory says, Murph, Swag Jeff, and Uncle Mosh. Raider Tory here. Just sitting down thinking about the Raiders and all these Tom Brady rumors. Would like to know each of your opinions on this matter. Go Raiders, F the Queefs, Raider Tory. Right, so
glad you took that email.
I know, right? So appreciate you, Raider Tory. So we just had a big conversation about quarterbacks, and so I'll just sum it up as this. And I think Mosh already hit the subject on Tom Brady. I'm not crazy about the idea of Tom Brady being our quarterback. I think that it's the chances are frankly slim. I think they're slimmer than what the media would care to report, because that's a fun story. It's very clickable. It creates a lot of conversation. I don't think that the odds are high that he becomes the Raiders quarterback, but although he wouldn't be my first choice, and it will be frankly kind of difficult considering what our history has been with him as a player, as an opposing player. If he's wearing silver and black, I'm in. And it, like Mosh said, he named Lyle Alzado. You could talk about Bill Romanowski, Tom Rathman, Ronnie Lott.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of players, man. Albert Lewis, Harvey Williams.
Yeah, you know what? I think it was Al Davis that said, "Just win, baby."
Just win, baby. Oh. So if he's a Raider, then I'm going to root right along for him. But no, I don't think he'd be any of our first choices. All right, Mosh, what you got over there?
Uncle Mosh, Murph, Swag Jeff, Indian Raider Nation. On the eve of probably my least favorite Super Bowl in memory, at least Belichick's team isn't in it, I'm taking time to weigh in on the Derek Carr controversy. I saw a video on the YouTube from Silver and Black Films Presents that just about sums up my thoughts on the matter, and the link is above. There's nothing. Crickets. Well, while I'm thinking about it, I've been giving consideration to who belongs on the Raiders' Mount Rushmore. We can all agree that it's a difficult task. For younger fans, it might be easier, but for longtime supporters of Silver and Black, it's much more challenging. I started out by picking the best of each position group, which quickly blew up to top 3 or 4. I finally gave up. I will say Mr. Davis is a no-brainer, though. I then came to the decision that Mark Davis also belongs. No. Not for his unique hairstyle, and not even for that sweet ride he drives. I think he belongs because he has accomplished what no one else has.
Amen.
Mark Davis has managed to secure a state-of-the-art venue and headquarters training facility for the Raider Nation. It only remains to be seen what impact these, as well as tax-free Las Vegas, does for the Raiders' ability to attract top free agents.
Yes.
Raider Nation forever, Frank from NorCal.
Nice job, Frank.
Good job, Frank.
Good stuff there, Frank. Appreciate that.
Swaggish.
Yeah, so hello, RFR family. This is Matthew Menges from Fremont, California. First off, how the heck did Josh Jacobs not win Rookie of the Year?
Amen.
He leads all rookies in every offensive category last year, but no, let's give it to a quarterback who did nothing all year. Then you give defensive...
Good evening, Raiders Fan Radio. This is Daniel Megas. Typing from Fremont, California. I seen the NFL honors, and now I'm starting a riot. We're going to the voters' house and damaging property. How the hell did Josh Jacobs not win Rookie of the Year?
Wait, are these guys twins?
Yes. He lost to Kyle Murray, whose numbers were only slightly better than the Bears' terrible QB. Also, Darren Waller deserved Comeback Player of the Year just for what he had to battle.
And then And then you give the defensive rookie of the year to Nick Bosa when he was outplayed by Max Crosby, and Mad Max didn't even play the whole year. The bias against the Raiders is complete horse beep, and it's been happening since I was a kid.
The Super Bowl was entertaining this year, but the 49ers blew it. They got too cute. With 10-point lead and 4 minutes left to go in the fourth. I guess this means it's back to the closet for all the 49ers fans after they post the video, the video of them burning their jerseys.
Anyway, the draft is coming up, and nothing will make me happier than drafting C.D. Lamb, wide receiver from Oklahoma, with the 12th overall pick, to send a message to everyone that Carr is our guy, and we're loading him up with speed, and more speed.
Now on to the draft. I'm very proud to announce that my twin and I are going to Vegas to welcome the newest members of Raider Nation. So, Murph, hit me up on Twitter because we would love to get a picture.
Heck yeah.
Here's to a kick-ass 2020 offseason. Yours truly, Matthew Mangus, Fremont, California, 2019 Made Men 2-time Sizzler Award nominee.
Mike Mayock says first-round wide receivers are overrated, and honestly, everyone hating on him, lay off. He's got the big balls in the war room, so this isn't your wide receiver who knocks his socks off if he's going to wait to get one. Cough. Hunter Renfrow. Finally, last but not least, free agency. We need help on defense. So I would like to see the Raiders sign a middle linebacker because I don't like Vontez is coming back, even though I think he earned another year. On offense, we need a number one wide receiver so Terrell can ball out at number 2 because even though he can be a number 1 and how I think he got hurt, he came in as a number 2 and was pushing the number 1, balled out of his body so much more. That was all one sentence. A.J. Green is a proven number 1, but I don't see him leaving the Bengals. Anyway, that's all for this twin. Time to drown myself in college homework. Twin out. Yours truly, Daniel Mangus, the good-looking twin, proud made man, 3-time Sizzler Award nominee. P.S. R.I.P. Kobe Bryant and all the lives lost in the helicopter crash. And my thoughts and prayers go out to all the families. Hold your loved ones close because you never know when their time on earth is up.
Amen. Good job, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Great job.
Hashtag twin power.
Oh, that was fun. Hey, good job, the two of you.
Oh, my gosh. That was fun.
That was awesome, man. Appreciate the Mangus twins. And, man, that's 5 Sizzlers between those guys.
Oh, my gosh.
Nominees. Sizzler nominees.
Oh, Sizzler nominees. Yeah. Well, I think that's winning. I think that's
nominees, not wins.
I don't know if they won the Sizzler 5 times.
No. We would have to check with the Sizzler scorekeeper.
Okay, Paul.
Paul, get back to us on that.
Let's get back to us
Who's
on
up
that.
next?
Okay, all right, next up. Let me grab one.
Go ahead.
You want to go again?
No, you go.
Okay, let me grab one here. All right, you're going to have to help me with this, Mr. English minor. It says Murph Mosh et al. What does et al mean?
And the rest. Everybody else.
So that's you, Jeff. You're the rest.
All right, et al.
Yeah, you're in there with everybody.
That's fine.
How do you feel about that?
That was a good one. That was a good English question for me. Thank you.
No,
Here's one for you.
Yeah, okay.
What's the only sentence in the English language that's properly spoken but can't be written?
Spoken but can't be written.
Correct.
Oh, it's like, I know. It'll be like there are 2 twos and
there are 3 twos in the English language.
There are 3 twos in it. Nice, Mosh.
Thank you very much. Here we go.
That's cool.
Go ahead, you're reading.
Okay. Murph Mosh et al. Not Jeff.
Dot, and Jeff. Bringing it old school.
Nope, just et al. That's everybody else. Yeah. I know you love it when people don't name you.
I'm all about recognition.
As we move into the Las Vegas Raiders era, I want to address our quarterback chatter on the old social interwebs. Both on Facebook and almost any other social media outlet, you can see article after article of the Raiders looking to trade Carr, looking into Brady, looking into drafting a young quarterback. I say, Carr is our guy. Statistically, he has proven he can make things happen. What he is missing is a number 1 wide receiver. A.B. Clown was supposed to be that guy, but we all saw how that blew up in our faces. Thankfully, it happened prior to the paycheck or game played. Give Carr a chance with a solid wide receiver in Vegas and then decide if he is not the guy to keep. You wouldn't want to race a car on the 101 with a missing spark plug. Why would you evaluate your quarterback of the future with that crucial part missing? Also, If sweet baby Jesus is listening, don't pick up Brady Rivers or any other drama-laced quarterback. We don't want them. We don't need them. Another big pink elephant in the room is our defense. Draft some solid defensive players. Give your offense a rest during games. Week after week, we see our opponents march down the field, barely slowing down. Fix that defense in the secondary so we can force them to compress the field of play. Finally, I want to say thanks for a great podcast, and I look forward to another fun-filled season of the Silver and Black. Signed, Raider Rich from Tucson via San Jose. Good job, Rich. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
And, man, so, listen, here's the thing about Carr is that I agree with you on the stats. Statistically, he's the best quarterback we've ever had. Wins-wise, he wasn't, and when you look at that number, 5-45, down by 10 or more points, that's a pretty tough one, man. That's a tough stat to look at. I do want to address one little thing. Swag and I, before the show today, we were having lunch, and we were talking about the impact of Antonio Brown. And this, I think, lends to a lot of what Rich is trying to say here in this email, Mosh, is that with Antonio Brown, with the way that it went down, if he doesn't lose his marbles, if he stays sane and even a diva, but just maintains himself enough to have a successful year in terms of on-the-field performance, the Raiders are likely a playoff team. He's worth how many scores? He's worth how many of those scores are equal stats for Derek? Those equal how many more wins for the team? We were in it all the way up until the very end. So likely you win one or two more games, and likely it's not the Patriots it's not the Titans that are rolling in to play the Patriots. It could very well have been the Raiders that could have done that. And God forbid, think about this. Like, I know I'm talking crazy, and I'm talking like what ifs here, but if the Raiders retain the services of Antonio Brown, and he is worth one or two more wins this season, and we do go into New England and beat the Patriots and find redemption, if Derek Carr is the guy that beats Tom Brady and the Patriots in Foxborough,
yes,
guess what? We're talking extension right now.
Yes.
Like the purpose of our discussion earlier that Jeff and I had, and say this, Jeff, before you guys jump into your next set of emails.
Yeah.
It literally changed the direction of the entirety of this team.
The entirety of the season. The entirety of the season. You know, they put all, you know what? I mean, I hate to say it, but they put all their eggs in the AB basket.
Yeah.
In the offseason.
Yeah.
You know, they really did.
Yeah.
And, you know, and they kind of made that offense around him. And Tyrell Williams is a great wide receiver, but he is not Antonio Brown. As far as
few are.
Yeah, exactly. So
few were.
Well, there you go. That too.
Well, yeah.
First off, he ain't coming back. The stuff that came up today.
Yeah, the stuff that came up
today.
today.
This is what fueled our discussion.
Yes.
Is that he went out on one of the circuits or on some podcast or something and said he's been talking to Gruden and like, look, this is Antonio Brown trying to reinsert himself into the discussion.
Yeah.
This is not the Raiders considering bringing him back. We've seen Antonio Brown go full on bat-esque crazy.
Well, yeah,
this season.
You know, because listen to that whole. If you listen to that whole thing on that podcast or radio show or whatever that was, you said, "Oh yeah, I've been talking to Gruden," but then he was talking about the Patriots the rest of the time, and he didn't say, "I love the game. I want to get back on the field." He said, "Oh yeah, I looked at Belichick and said I need that $9 million." Like, give me a freaking break, dude.
Exactly,
like,
dude.
Kick rocks, bro.
Yeah, he's not coming back.
He ain't coming back.
He's not coming back. And if he does, it won't be with the Raiders. And most importantly, though, that I think it's important to consider that all this stuff about Derek Carr and whatever. If that guy stays around, like this, the whole discussion could have taken a different path, but it hasn't. So let's not talk about the Raiders that aren't. We talk about the Raiders that are.
Yes.
What do you got, Mosh?
I'm going over to Swaggy. He was going to get us one.
All right.
So, did I step into the fifth dimension on Planet F My Life?
Planet F My Life?
Yeah.
Okay.
Josh Jacobs is not Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Oh, right? Wrong.
Max Crosby is not Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Boo.
Not one Raider in the Hall of Fame 2020 class.
Oh, Cliff Branch, man. Hook him up.
Tom Brady to the Raiders? ESPN's reporting on this. I thought everyone said the Niners had a defense. No RFR? No RFR, and Mosh is missing for like 4 weeks? and to top
and
this
that email was 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, it was. They kept running this special at Dunkin'. Like every Wednesday, man. It was great. Anyway, go ahead.
And to top all this rotten ice crap Sunday with the Kool-Aid Man and Kermit raising the Lombardi Trophy.
Oh!
What's next? Aldon Smith, Defensive Player of the Year for the Broncos?
Oh.
Or what's next? Derek Carr raising the Lombardi in a Charger uniform while Brady sits on our bench collecting $35 million with a broken hip? Maybe I'll wake up in the morning.
That's a good email.
Maybe I'll wake up in the morning with coronavirus. At least I'll be a made man. Pirate, 1975, two-time Sizzler Award winner.
Nicely done, Pirate. Oh, that's money, dude.
Oh, that's so money.
That's pretty funny. Hey, so, Mosh, you weren't here the last time that we did Raiders Fan Radio, episode number 156, but we acknowledge that Pirate is a huge contributor to the chat each and every week.
Every week.
At youtube.com/MurphsFanCave. We see Pirate in the chat, and he's so funny. And that was like, I don't know how many emails because it's an indefinite amount, but we told him, you email us one more time, and you bring it, and you, my friend, will be a made man. And so sure enough, I'd like to congratulate newly crowned made man. Let's add him to the list. Pirate 1975.
Yeah.
You are a made man. You showed you are part of the family by participation. By chance, a man like yourself should make enemies, then they would become my enemies. Showing you are a friend of Raiders Fan Radio, you have leapt across the line. Friendship is everything. Friendship is more than talent. It is more than the government. It's almost equal to family. Be loyal. Made man, Raider fan. Someday, and that day may never come, I'll call upon you to do a service for me. But until that day, accept this as a gift. And don't ever forget, words can hurt more, but silence can break hearts.
Congratulations to our buddy Pirate 1975. Great job on the emails. That was pretty dang funny, Mosh.
So funny. So funny. He kills me, man. He always
He's
kills
good,
me.
man. He's in there in the chat there, man.
Yeah,
Congratulations to him.
Good job, pal.
Absolutely.
Good
Says
job,
knock
Pirate.
on wood, man. We've got you.
We need to get a soundbite for that so it doesn't rattle our camera.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right. Yo, what's up, Mosh? Swaggy and the one and only Uncle Mosh. I got mentioned twice.
got twice?
You
I got
didn't
zero?
get once. You got et al.
I don't know if I've ever gone over on this thing.
No, you haven't.
Well,
now
I did
you have.
Yeah.
That's good. That
Ta-da,
builds
Raider.
So who was that?
That was my favorite. I love his name. It was because Ty Raider, but I always like to go, ta-da, Raider.
Well, it's unfortunate. That's the last time we'll hear from him on this show. I'm kidding, Ty. Look, I'm kidding. It was just a joke.
Oh, my gosh.
We'll play again. Just, hey, come on, man.
How you doing? How you doing there, guys?
Fan cave.
All right.
Not Ed Al's fan cave around here.
It's me, Ty Raider. I want to start by saying, long live the GOAT. The Black Mamba Kobe.
Oh, man.
Yes, all my teams used to play in the same parking lot. A's, Raiders, Warriors. We all know the impact that he had on not only basketball, but on our lives, period. I know we really just talk about football here, but this hits me a little different. As a dad to a beautiful little girl myself, you can relate to that, Swaggy, who just turned 4 on the 19th, made me think a lot. I was working at a lot of these the past 2 years, working graveyard on top of weekends, and I felt like I was never home. I took an opportunity in the beginning of January and ended up getting Mondays through Fridays, 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. Anybody who has done security knows that this is the ideal situation. I've been turning down overtime on the weekends just so I can spend time with my wife and kids, and I couldn't be happier with the decision. The point that I'm making is this. I know we get caught up in providing for our families, which is a good thing, but we also need to make sure that we make the time for our family. And with that being said, the entire situation just made me more depressed about the upcoming Super Bowl. Yeah, I started working at a new place, but no one told me the place was filled with 40 Winers fans. I'm pretty sure I know more players on the team than half of them anyway. And I say a Chiefs fan for the first time and I saw a Chiefs fan for the first time in my life at a store with a Kermit the Frog jersey. And he had his children dressed in condiments as well. For crying out loud, who would do such a crude thing to a child? I'm not even sure if I will watch the game this year. It's the worst case scenario for a Raiders fan. If I had to pick, it would be the Whiners, just to keep it in the Bay Area away from the queefs. Explosion of air or gas. Anyway, I don't even hate the 49ers team. I hate the fans. They seem to only watch when they are winning. But hey, maybe I'm just a salty Raiders fan. I can relate to that. Just hope the game ends in a draw after Rico's serenading halftime performance. All the players will be making sure their wives don't run off on them. You guys keep up the show. All love and respect from yours truly, Ty DeRada.
Nice.
P.S. My neighbor stopped banging on the ceiling and asked me how to do the Uncle Mosh.
Nice.
Nicely done. Nicely job. Good job, Ty DeRada. And let's just talk about it real quick. I want to express sentiment there. So it's we're sports fans. We're huge sports fans around here, more so than just the NFL. NFL's our favorite. Raiders are our favorite. But all three of us are huge sports fans. And as a Bay Area sports fan, I can't stand the Lakers. Like I've always not liked the Lakers a lot. I don't care for them. Never have. They're on my list with the Dodgers as far as teams I can't stand the most. But when you lose somebody of the significance of like a Kobe Bryant, it transcends sports, and that's how that's really what you can see what defines someone's legacy and is tragic. Jeff, and please pick it up there too, because Jeff and I were having this talk, and this is why I want to throw it to him, Mosh, is that I was telling him that for me growing up, it was in the NBA world, it was Jordan, right? Like he was of my age group, and I'm not sure who that guy was for you growing up at that larger than life, that guy that defined.
For me, it was Lou Alcindor.
There you go. Okay,
yeah,
so
before he became
Kareem,
yeah.
right? So there's that guy, and for Jeff it was Kobe, and so I was trying to think of it in terms of when Jordan was 41 years old and it just post his heyday, because if we'd have lost him at that point, I can relate in thinking of those terms.
Oh my gosh,
I know, it's crazy. So Jeff, tell a little bit about that, about your reaction, and as the parent of a young girl, right?
So Jordan and Kobe were kind of both in my time. Jordan was on the tail end of his career, and Kobe was kind of coming up, and I mean, me as a kid and all that stuff, I grew up, and I would, be on my driveway playing with my neighbors, and I'd yell Kobe every time I'd take a shot on, at my basketball goal. So he epitomized. He was not only just a basketball, but a sports superstar. But what shocked me, I wasn't a Laker fan either. But this one hit me. This one hit me in a really hard way. Like I cried, and I wasn't a Laker fan ever.
Yeah.
But, the legacy that this man left is more than sports. It's more than sports because, he was a father to 3 or 4 daughters, and me being a dad to my little girl. And there's people on my Facebook and Instagram and stuff, they're not sports fans, but this hit them. So, this guy is not only a sports legend, but just a legend in general. I mean, this guy hit the world.
Yeah.
His death affected everyone. This wasn't just, the United States, NBA, whatever. This guy, it affected everybody.
Absolutely.
And so the whole, hashtag girl dad, that's huge.
Well, what's cool about it is that, despite anything around, I think the legacy that he left to me was that, and I had this talk about my Max, is that if it left the legacy that, because you hear a lot of hug your loved ones, or tell someone how much they mean to you or whatever.
Yes.
But if that's the thing that brings unity and joy and love between the people that are left behind. Like
Amen.
What a cool thing. Like
Yes.
we all would want that, right? Like
Yes.
the fact that notion came about, I think is an absolute testament to who he was. And, despite your fandom or anything else, so appreciate Ty Raider bringing it up. And I know that, also too, I think we heard a disproportionate amount of it being Raider fans, because so many people that we are around in our sphere came up Los Angeles Raiders fans, so they are Lakers fans and Dodger fans and all that. Like, that's their fandom. They're not the Bay Area Raiders. They came up LA, and so the Lakers come along with them. So we heard so much, sentiment around his passing. So anyways, rest in peace and much respect for him. And we probably should have hit respect for him on the top of the show. So I apologize for missing on that. But Mosh, close us out on this.
Well, I want to go on record as saying, anytime a sports hero or any hero, whether it's what's one of our soldiers in Afghanistan, or whether it's somebody stateside, whether we have people that transcend every walk of life listening to the show, and there's people pass all the time. Okay, but the tragedy that's about this is that this was a family guy who was taking his kid to a basketball game.
Yes.
Who had another family with him.
Yes.
Yeah.
That compounds this. This isn't, we've lost sports heroes before, Thurman Munson, back when I was a kid. We've had people, but this tragedy, because he was such a dad. It could have been in a car, it could have been on a train, it could have been anywhere. This was a dad taking his little girl to a game with another family riding with them. Then they lost their mom and dad. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what it. I think that's what really hits home with everybody. It's not just the loss, and I'm not making light of that. That if Kobe had just died by himself in some weird freak accident, but it's the whole idea that it was a family loss, man.
Yes.
And that's what just kills people, man. I mean that figuratively.
Yeah, I get you.
It just tears folks up.
Tears you
man.
up. Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
I
think is this the last one? Is this me?
Yeah, I'm out.
I got one more.
Go
You want me
ahead.
to do mine?
You do yours, and I'll hit
the
Paul.
way you can close out. Yeah, got to close out with Paul, of course. All right, here we go. Hello, Murph, Mosh, Swag Jeff, Made Men, and the rest of Raider Nation. I thought I would go Made Men old school style today and write an email. I don't always have the luxury of joining in the live chat on YouTube for Raiders Fan Radio, or if I do, my time is limited due to my own heavy podcast schedule on our Fandom Podcast Network. I know who this is now. My reason for contacting you guys via email this time is regarding the article on Silver and Black today from Ethical Skeptic regarding the Raider regarding the Raider bias on NFL officiating. I know Mojo's Raider Pod Show has covered the topic. Love your show, Mojo. But I've been waiting for Raiders Fan Radio to cover this topic in detail. Please give this topic its due. As Raider fans, we know it's been this case for years, but I feel the research put into this article, not only to have proven officiating a bias towards the Raiders, but it has the numbers to prove it. Math doesn't lie. This article proves that the judgment penalties like pass interference, roughing the passer, etc., have not gone the Raiders' way over the past 30 years. Many people will say that it's the actions of Al Davis against the league back in the day that have contributed to this. There's also a podcast interview with the ethical skeptic himself on the Silver and Black today, and I believe Mojo will have an interview with him as well. It's not only a huge topic, but a very sore topic for Raider fans, and I'd like to hear what you have to say. As always, great show, guys. I love it. I love Tales from the Nation. Please allow us to buy those Tales from the Nation t-shirts. Take my money, please. P.S. Please send me Raider reinforcements. My good friend Kyle, who's also the co-founder of our network, is a Chiefs fan. Well, we love you, Kyle. We love you. No. We hate your fandom. Among the many podcasts that we do on this network, the NFL podcast called The End Zone. I have to hear this Chiefs crap show, and he didn't use the word crap. Propaganda all year long now. Ugh, help me out. Unfortunately, will not be able to make the NFL draft in April, as I'll be in Australia getting married to my beautiful fiance, Erin.
Congratulations. Congratulations on that.
Absolutely.
I hope he doesn't invite Kyle.
Keep up the great job, guys. Absolutely love what you do. I'll keep doing my best to drop in the live YouTube chat. Love you, Raider Nation. Signed, Kevin the Raider Nerd. There
Nice.
we go.
Job, Kev.
We appreciate you,
Congratulations,
Kev.
bro.
Absolutely. First and foremost, congratulations. Not to Kyle, but to you and your lovely fiance, Erin. All right, real quick, because we're running out of time. I'll tell you what, we'll cover this more in depth at another time, Kevin. We'll give it its due. I intentionally avoided the subject because it had been covered so heavily on other podcast networks. So I'll just give you my quick and dirty on this. That I think this validated a lot of the feelings that we had already had as Raider fans. We already knew that there was an NFL officiating bias against our team, and this put it in black and white, and this had the data to back it up. I'll say this just as a short, again, we'll get into it more later. I want to honor your request, so we'll give it its due next week when we come back on Wednesday. But I'll say this. That's always been the case, and Mosh, you know this better than anybody. What did the Raiders used to do during that officiating bias? They would win through it. Mm-hmm. They would win despite of it. They didn't allow it to be an excuse. They pushed through it.
They used it as a motivational tool.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And so far,
where do you think "just win, baby" comes from?
Amen. Right? And
Enough said.
That's how I feel about it. So, but we'll get it. We'll honor your request, Kevin. We'll give it its due. Check back in with us next week. I know you will. And appreciate you emailing the show.
Evening, guys. Welcome back. I've missed you not being around. I hope all is well. So preseason is with us once again, and thoughts are turning towards free agency and the draft, with mock drafts galore and speculation rife. The one topic that won't go away surrounds the future of Derek Carr. I don't think I've ever known a more divisive topic within the Raider Nation. As Murph said a few weeks ago, the middle ground has vanished, and it's either for or against now. Some of the abuse that's being thrown around is quite something. My take on it all is that I believe DC will be our QB in Vegas for one more year at least, and we'll draft a young QB to nurture for the future. However, plans have a knack of changing, and should a player become available that's too good to turn down, Coach Gruden may want to change things, which leads me to this. Will Tom Brady join the Raiders? If he does, then DC will surely leave. There's no way we'll cough up 2 huge wages at the QB position when we still have other needs on the roster. Would I be happy with it? Not particularly. But hey, just win, baby. That would apply so I'd get over it if we started winning. I did read an article recently suggesting, I'm not going to say his name, that guy in San Diego. It would be a possibility as well. Not that it's a totally different situation for me personally. There are plenty of players I have disliked over the years. But pardon me, it's because I almost said Phillip Rivers.
Oh!
No!
Oh, Mosh.
What happened? I hit my thing. Did my thing come unplugged?
I don't know.
Oh.
Did it unplug?
I don't know. Here we go.
Play it again.
No, I got nothing.
I hear it barely.
There it is.
Ah, there it is.
There it is.
Sorry, I messed that all up, man. I was trying to hit the booze for saying Phillip Rivers. I did it again.
Jeez.
Sorry. Where was I? There are plenty of players I've disliked over the years. I've hated with passion. John Elway, Terrell Davis, and Phillip Rivers. It would be so hard for me to want Rivers to do well. I'd never turn my back on the Raiders because of it, but I'd struggle with the situation. Just win, baby. Would still apply, of course, and I know it makes me a hypocrite, but it'd be a really difficult test if we signed Phillip Rivers. And don't forget, everybody, if DC does move on, just watch him turn into Joe Montana, because that's the way the Raiders universe works.
Jeez.
We'd had our annual Hall of Fame snub by the fools on the Hill. Now we've had another snub for Josh Jacobs. Proof is proof. We're needed that if players want to be recognized by their peers, they need to play for somebody other than the Raiders. The hatred and bias is real, my friends. I'm still angry that Coach Flores and Cliff Branch were snubbed again.
Amen.
Especially for the likes of Bill Cowher and Harold Carmichael.
Jeez.
All we can do is keep hoping that at some point sanity will return. I think I'm right in saying Charles Woodson is eligible for Canton soon. Don't hold your breath, folks. Anyway, let's Let's get ready for more exciting times around the corner with free agency and more Mayock magic on the horizon.
Yeah.
Plus the finishing touches being made to our new home. Love you, Raider Nation. His Lordship Paul Egerton, Shropshire, Mississippi Pauly Award winner, 2019 Sizzler scorekeeper, proud made man, 2-time winner of the Raiders Fan Radio Sizzler Award.
Wow. Nice job, Paul. Nice job. Man, boy, Paul's getting quite the resume going on over there, isn't he?
He is just getting it.
He's getting it, man. Good job, Paul. Appreciate the emails, as always. All right, we're already over on time. Hey, guys, we're going to do a 90-minute show, remember?
Yeah, we are. Hurry.
Yep. All right, let's jump into the voicemails. First off, let's go to our capo. He is the leader of the Made Man crew. He is Aaron, the Q-Dog Raider. Aaron, the Q-Dog Raider.
Greetings, Don Murph, Consigliere Moss, the Boss Sonny, Sergeant at Arms, the Big Raider Trucker.
Aaron's got a cold, I think.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Yeah.
Mojo for the Pod Show, Raider Ramon, Swag Nation. This is your capo. Congested as I be, I want to give the state of the Raiders address. You know, this past season was supposed to be the payback tour 2019. Guess that didn't happen. But remember, the greatness of the Raiders is always in its future. Now, much of the blame for this past season goes squarely on the defense or lack thereof. You know, all three levels of the defense need improvement. But this past season, even Bailey Cleveland, he did a solid job shoring up the edge as the season wore on. However, Max Crosby proved to be the golden goose in the fourth-round selection. I mean, infusing bite into the Raiders' pass rush. I mean, you know, kudos to him. Even though he got snubbed for Defensive Rookie of the Year, former defensive line coach Brenson Buckner vastly improved the D-line against the run primarily, but quadrupled our season sack totals. Enter Rod Marinelli. I think we're going to go ahead and take that next step. You know, we look forward in free agency to upgrading, you know, all three phases of our defense, but, you know, nothing can be more piss poor and pitiful than it was with our defensive coverage of tight ends, especially our linebacking core. We got to address this, but you know what? We get the return of our true team leader, Jonathan Abram. As Bart Scott once said, can't wait. Now, the most polarizing aspect of this past season has to be DC4. Now, for all of his talk of revering altogether gone too soon Kobe Bryant and his mama mentality, seldom was it on display. You know, his future with the silver and black is murky at best. I have no clairvoyance one way or another, you know, as to, you know, what the future holds for him. But how much of a sample size do we need to see that DC4 is not a playoff, nor is he a championship QB? Oof. Other available free agent QBs coming on the open market have such pedigrees. Our wide receiver core consists of a bunch of reaches at best. I mean, Keelan Doss has shown promise with our QBs, but only our backup QBs and not necessarily with DC4. Terrell Owens was a turf toe away from being a consistently productive back and had a lot of attributes of, dare I say, Amari Cooper with his drops. The rest of the wide receivers, they can be shown the door. Fellow Q-Dog and little third down back Jalen Richard got extended. Everyone else backing up Josh Jacobs, they can be shown the door as well. Through the free agency and the draft, we can go ahead and see if we can find some viable backups and heavy hitters to fill that void. No more Lilliputians, midgets, or undersized backs. We got to do better.
Lilliputians.
All-world athlete out of Kentucky, Len Bowden Jr. will be available in the third round of the
I love that, Lilliputians.
Specifically, he was moved from wide receiver and pressed into duty as a quarterback. Now check this. In only 7 games spotted the rest of the SEC, the premier football conference in college football, a whole month, he was able to lead the SEC in rushing from the quarterback position. I think we make a tailback out of him, and you know what? We go laughing all the way to the playoffs. Now, he single-handedly beat Virginia Tech in the Belt Bowl, the most exciting bowl of this past bowl season. Now, our offensive line is good, but they're aging, having suffered multiple injuries, missing too many games this past season. We'll need to go ahead and get younger at both guard positions and somehow find an heir apparent to sit all-world, all-everything center Rodney Hudson. Let me correct myself.
Yes, sir.
Now, let me go ahead and give you some hope.
Okay.
Moving forward, as a reminder, this will be year 3 under Chucky in Las Vegas, where we embark on a whole new lineage. Now, the Bills, remember, in 2017, they were 9-7. In 2018, they were 6-10, and last year they were 10-6. The 49ers, they were 6-10 in 2017, they were 4-12 in 2018, and 13-3 in 2019. And the Packers, they were 7-9 in 2017, 6-9-1 in 2018, and 13-3 last year. 2020, a new hope. Rue.
Wow.
I like the numbers at the end, man.
Absolutely. Aaron is always awesome with his calls, but I love that kind of knowledge that he brought there at the end and the comparisons of the year 3 rebuild, right? Like that was amazing insight from Aaron, and appreciate him as always, representing the made men and made women here in Raiders Fan Radio. Appreciate you, Aaron, and I hope you get over that cold or whatever it is you're battling over there, my friend.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, next up on the docket, we have our buddy Rev Raider in Jersey.
What's going on, Murph, Uncle Mosh, Young Swaggo? This is Rev Raider calling from Jersey. Just wanted to weigh in on a couple of things, man. It just seems like this is just a year of the snub for the Raiders.
Amen.
I mean, we get snubbed in the Hall of Fame, snubbed on Rookie of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year. It is ridiculous, man. Like, wow to me, and so I say this in true Rich Eisen fashion. In the words of Ricky Bobby, with all due respect, I didn't know that they had their emergency surgery to have their balls removed. I mean, it's just ridiculous, man. Kyler Murray gets Offensive Rookie of the Year? Really? 5-10? Okay. But anyway, also I just been sitting here mulling over this possible Tom Brady to the Raiders. Seems real nonsensical to me. We've been talking about how Gruden wants a mobile quarterback all this time, and now we want to bring Tom Brady in, a quarterback that in a foot race he runs like he has lead boots on. Like, really? It just don't make no sense to me. Plus, his stats didn't seem so great this year. Amen. And now it's funny how in past years, when he didn't have the talent, he raises the level of his team and stuff like that. But now that didn't happen this year, but now it's an excuse. But that's just my thoughts on that one. But whatever. Just doesn't make sense to me. But yeah, man, it's the off season. Shout to Andy Reid, not the mustard and ketchup crew. I'm happy for him. He's a coach that did deserve it. I was worried about it when he came to the Chiefs, man, that it was going to happen, but whatever. But it's the off season now, so let's look at the draft, man. I definitely would love to see us get CD Lamb, but we'll just see how all of it plays out. Looking forward to sitting down and watching the combine, binging on that. I love the show always as usual, man. Y'all have a good one. Peace.
Awesome stuff, Rev Raider. I'm glad now after tonight's show that we picked CeeDee Lamb as our guy at 12, because it seems like that's kind of coming up more and more that, Jerry Jeudy's going to be gone by the time we get to 12, and that CeeDee Lamb might be on the guy on the board. And one other thing I want to touch on there, and I appreciate the call, Rev, as always, is that he mentioned about Max Crosby. About, getting snubbed for Defensive Rookie of the Year. James Jones on NFL Network, former Packer, former Raider. Did you see this, Jeff?
Yes.
And we don't have time to play it tonight, but Mosh, the gist of it is that James Jones is on NFL Network, week of the Super Bowl. Everybody's talking about Nick Bosa, and he goes, wait a minute. He's like, Max Crosby not only has the stats, not only is he outperformed Nick Bosa on paper, but Nick Bosa has the luxury of this badass defensive line, this secondary that can cover. Who's playing next to Max Crosby? Maybe Maurice Hurst? Like, who's out there sucking up double teams?
Right.
Maybe P.J. Hall?
Right.
And Max Crosby balled out and stat-wise more so than Nick Bosa.
Right.
And he doesn't have near the talent around him. I thought that was a great point. And kudos to James Jones and for what he had to say about Max Crosby. And you know what's funny is that he broke it down like this, and I trust his opinion more than somebody on Twitter, when he said, if you look at the film, if you know film, if you study film, when you watch Max Crosby on film, he outperforms Nick Bosa.
Yes.
There you go. That's all I needed to know. So absolutely.
Who's up next?
Appreciate the call. Rev Raider. Houston Raider Steve.
Murph Mosh, Swag Jeff, Made Men, Made Women, all the great Raider fan radio fans.
Hey, this is Houston Raider Steve. Can you remember the first NFL game that you ever went to? My first NFL game was 1972. It was the New York Jets and Broadway Joe Namath against the Houston Oilers in the Astrodome. And they had all these Jets fans obviously wearing the colors and everything. It was like he was a rock star. The lines were lined up outside the Jets locker room for a very long way just to meet Broadway Joe and the Jets players. And anyway, so we paid $3 a seat for my mom, dad, and I to sit on the old wooden bleachers down in the north end zone where they would bring in the trucks. It was where the trucks would go and the bands would go down and do the pregame practices. Anyway, and it was $1 to park your car. When the parking was eventually raised to $5, everybody said, that's horrible. I'm never going to pay that. That's highway robbery. But of course they paid it. But those wooden bleachers in the north end zone, man, right on the field, man, they had this guy who used to raise his big wrench, and he was the Derrick guy. Anyway, it was the only game that the Oilers won that year. They had Elvin Bethea, who's now a Hall of Famer, Dan Pastorini from Santa Clara, of course, and going against Broadway Joe and everything. And what's his name? Elvin Bethea had a hell of a game, man. He was all over the place making plays, and I said, man, this is awesome. This is my first NFL game. Something I'll always remember. What was your first NFL game? And how much do you remember paying? And I've been a fan ever since, 50-something years later. Anyway, great show. God bless. Bye. Go Raiders. We're back, baby. By the way, it was a crock of crap that Jacobs didn't get the Rookie of the Year. Of course, being Raider fans, we're used to getting screwed by the NFL. It's almost a given. We need to get Flores, Plunkett, and Lester Hayes in the Hall of Fame, especially the first, all of them. Bye.
Awesome job, Houston Raiders, Steve. Appreciate the call. And so he asked the question, what was our first game? So let's start off with you, Swaggy J. What was your first NFL game?
December 9th, 1999. And you know what?
What's that?
It was a Raider game.
Heck yeah, it was.
It was a Raider game. It was a Raider game. It was Thursday night football. Titans Raiders.
We were there.
We were there, Mosh.
You guys were there.
We sure were. And I was ESPN game.
I was in my dad's radio station suite.
Oh,
we were in the cheap seats, third deck.
Yeah, you were. And broke up a fight.
Broke up a fight on the way down.
Yeah. And it was I was 11 years old.
Wow.
And I was a Titans fan. But yeah, Javon Curse had a couple of sacks on Rich Gannon. Eddie George ran for 199 yards and 2 touchdowns. And that was I was in the honeymoon phase with my ex-girlfriend. I was in the honeymoon phase. Oh, we were all in. We were all lovey-dovey with each other. But really,
you had eyes for another. You had eyes for another, didn't you?
Yeah,
and she was wearing silver and black.
My true love was right under my nose. She was like the ugly girl in class, but when she took off her glasses, I realized how beautiful she was.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
She let that hair down.
Yeah.
What was the final score of that game?
It was 21-14 Titans.
Do you remember, Mosh, that I believe it was Napoleon Kaufman? If I'm not mistaken, somebody will correct me if I'm wrong, he was returning either kicks or punts. And remember, he returned a kick for a touchdown to tie the game, and they called it back.
Yeah, they did.
Do you remember that?
Yeah,
and we were like,
pissed.
no! Oh my gosh, that was rough, man. But that was the precipice of the resurgence, right?
Yeah.
99. That's Gruden. That's like we were coming back, man. That was bright days for both of those teams on the horizon because that's when both the Raiders and the Titans got good at the same time.
Yes.
And that was a lot of fun, man. There was a disconnected rivalry between those two teams over the next handful of years. Great stuff, Swaggo. That's a great first game. Mosh, what about yours?
So I was thinking back, man, and I remember that I was trying to think of my first game, and it was 72-73 because I remember I was still on my bicycle, and and I went with your grandma's husband, and he was and it was fun, and I was thinking, oh man, that was so much fun. I remember it, and then I was saying to myself, wait a minute, that wasn't my first game. That was the East-West Shrine Bowl at Stanford Stadium. That was a college game.
It was a college game.
So, and then I had to go back and I had to really crank the memory there, And it was a 49er game that same year.
Okay.
It was like 72, 73. Just moved into the 49ers to Candlestick Park.
Okay.
And John Brody was playing.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and I remember
12.
Yeah, number 12. And it was really cool. It was I think you could get tickets for like $6 or something.
Right.
And it was cool to go to Candlestick because that was when football teams and baseball teams were just starting to play in the same stadium.
Yeah.
So that was huge. And that was kind of the reason to go. But
so
that's what it was.
Yeah,
it was Candlestick. And it was the weather was really good. It was like September-ish, and I think we were playing the Rams.
Wow.
Yeah,
nice,
and it was like I remember there was 2 players on the Rams.
It would have been like Roman Gabriel or
Roman
something.
Gabriel and Jack Snow. Jack Snow was the tight end.
No
Roman
kidding.
Gabriel was the quarterback.
Oh, right on.
Yeah,
man.
so those were my 2 favorite players on the Rams,
Oh, nice.
So it was cool.
Nice.
It was a really cool
How
game.
old were you for that?
I was about 13.
About 13?
No, yeah,
Okay.
something like that. 12, 13,
Okay.
14, something like that.
Nice, guys. Right on. Good stuff. So mine was, it was unfortunately also a Niner game. So, growing up in the Bay Area, the Raiders left in 81, I guess, to go to Los Angeles. So I was born in 73. So for the majority of my, mid-kid years, childhood and early adulthood, the Raiders were gone. They weren't there. So we had the 49ers were the local team. And during that time also, the Niners were the best freaking football team on the planet.
Right.
For the longest time. So there wasn't a lot of opportunity for us to go to football games because it was so expensive. Like I remember distinctly, the Niners had like a 10-year waiting list for season tickets. So my parents, my mom and my stepdad anyways, owned a local business, and one of the distributors for their business offered us tickets. And it was the last game of the 1993 season, and it was a Niners-Eagles game. And check this out, guys. So here I am. So this is 1990. I'm not yet. So I'm 20, I guess.
Yeah, 20-ish.
20 years old. All right. So here's what I did. So this is Niners-Eagles. This is a Monday night football game. Niners-Eagles, and I wore this. This is my starter jacket for those of you that are not watching for those of you that are on the audio version. This is my starter jacket. I wore this starter jacket, and I sat in the end zone of the Niners there, and I rooted for the Eagles a lot. And the Eagles, so back then, so this is like, they had like James Lofton, they had like Refrigerator Perry, like there was like a ton of there was a lot of stars in this game, of course, including any of the Niners from those early days in the 90s. And so the Eagles won. So the Eagles won this game, and it was funny because there was, the Niners had a chance to win the game, and they missed a kick. And then the Eagles had a chance to tie it, and they made the kick. And then the Niners had a chance to win it again, and they missed the kick. And it was like it kept going back and forth. And it finally came down into overtime, and the Eagles had a chance to win it in overtime. And Merton Hanks for the Niners ran into the kicker, committed a penalty. The Eagles got to kick it again a second time and made it that time and won the freaking game. And here's what it sounded like.
This will be a 38-yard attempt for Roger Ruzek. John Hudson snaps it. Jeff Fiegels holds it. And this will be the final play
of the 93 regular season.
You bet. barring
a penalty of some kind.
So here we go as the regular season ends here. Game time at 34 at the end of overtime. Flag is down. The kick is no good. No good. Merton Hanks ran in to Fiegels.
But there is a penalty.
You cannot end on a defensive foul. Ruzek is down. He ran by Fiegels.
Roughing the kicker. Number 36.
That's 15 yards.
Now Ruzek.
All right, so that goes on from there. I won't play the whole thing there, but it was pretty funny. So Merton Hanks runs into him, and the Eagles go on to win, and I'm going nuts, dude. And people are throwing peanuts at me and beers, and I got my hoodie. I'm like this with my hoodie, I got stuff raining down on me, and I'm just repping the Raiders and rocking the Raiders, absolutely the whole way. And I'll tell you what was fun about that, because the '93 Oakland Raiders, of course, coached by Art Shell, managed by Al Davis, we finished 10-6 that year. We finished second in the division, of course, to the stupid Chiefs, but we beat the crap out of the Broncos that year in the playoffs, and then unfortunately lost in the divisional round against the Bills, who went on to play the Cowboys that year in the Super Bowl. But the 93 season, man, was a lot of fun as a Raider fan. And so, yeah, that's when I went to my first ever football game. All right, so, gentlemen, we award a Sizzler, which is our award for the best email or phone call throughout the course of the week. And so, Uncle Mosh, tonight, what do we got?
Sizzler, 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 sizzler. And you got to hit my button. You got me muted there, big boy.
Oh, let me do it again. Please do it.
All right.
Sizzler.
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 All right, so we had some good calls. Capo came in with a great recap, even though he was a little under the weather, but he says some over-the-counter cough medicine and some nice bourbon.
Hey,
got him back in the saddle again. He gave us some great, ended his call with some great stuff about some teams that have really stepped up over the last 3 years. We love that. Rev told us, hey, Raiders got snubbed in the Hall of Fame, so what's new, right? But I loved his Raider. Rev had a great line about Brady running in lead boots. And then Houston Steve. Thank you, Steve, for the shout-out on Rich Eisen once again.
Oh,
but he asked us all to recap our first game, and that was a lot of fun to do that. But tonight's Sizzler Award, this is crazy, y'all. Tonight's Sizzler Award goes to the first time I think we've ever had a made man and a Sizzler in the same call, and it wasn't a call. And had it not been for this line, Derek Carr raising a Lombardi trophy in a Chargers uniform while Brady sits on our bench collecting $35 million with a broken hip. This week's Sizzler. Sizzler goes to Pirate 1975, his third Sizzler Award, and New Made Man.
Sizzler.
Congratulations.
Sizzler. Sizzler.
Sizzler.
Sizzler.
Awesome job, Pirate
That's
1975. Awesome. Welcome to the crew, and great job on your Sizzler Award.
We are Metallica, and we are here for your Oakland Raiders!
You know why we out here, and we ain't playing around today.
From The Walking Dead to errant Jedi Knights, Raiders fans are a rogues gallery.
Mosh, so they call it an EGOT when you win an Emmy, a Grammy, an Oscar, and a Tony. What is it when you win a Sizzler and a Made Man in the same? It's a sm.
No, it's just some really cool crap.
He's a smade man.
Smade man.
Congratulations, Pirate 1975. Appreciate all of you joining us tonight here on Raiders Fan Radio. You can join us anytime. Hey, listen to the sweet grooves of David North up there. Nice. You can join us anytime here at Murph's Fan Cave, especially on the YouTubes. That's youtube.com/Murph's Fan Cave. Check us out on the YouTubes and join into the chat. It's the best chat room in Raider Nation. You can jump in there with Uncle Mosh, Full Metal Mexican, Aaron the Q-Dog Raider, Running Bear, Fabricator Gil from the Inland Empire, Raiderborn Rico, Logan Moore, Kevin the Raider Nerd is in there, Jesse Rosales, Pete M, Running Bear. Appreciate all of you joining us each and every night. Check us out. We'll be back next week for another episode of Raiders Fan Radio.
That is right. If you want to get a hold of us, call 909-345-3346. Email us at show@RaidersFanRadio.com. Find us on all social media platforms, Facebook.com/Raiders Fan Radio Podcast, Twitter and Instagram, both at Raiders Fan Radio, YouTube.com/Murph's Fan Cave, and wherever you listen to your podcast. Thank you so much for all the love. We love you guys so much. Thanks for tuning in. Uncle Mosh, take us home.
I'm going to cut this a little bit short so we can rock out to a little bit of David Northrup.
Yeah.
But anyway, thanks for listening tonight, everybody. You got your old Uncle Mosh here, and I'm listening to Raiders Fan Radio with Swaggy J and Murph, where we take a lighter side journey into the dark side. Remember, what happens in Vegas started in Oakland.